I have mentioned before, I'm thinking of joining a boxing gym that has group sessions because I think that could, I don't know, man. As much as I talk about how hopeless it is, something in the back of my head just keeps telling me to push through and try one more time. So I don't know. I might do this, but I have I have so much anxiety about even calling the boxing gym to even begin, thinking about taking less. I don't know, but maybe I'll do it. Maybe it'll work. Uh, I don't know. So yeah.
Well, I did it. I signed up for the boxing class, and I actually already went to my first day of class. And I gotta say, it was not bad. I mean, it was all right. So I actually just got back from class and took a shower, and yeah, feeling pretty good right now. I mean, yeah, that's part of the reason been wanting to take this class. I mean, it is for, I mentioned before, for the social aspect or the potential for some socializing, but also, help motivate me to stay in better shape because I used to be in pretty good shape and now I'm not. And if anything's going to help me fix my broken life, maybe getting in shape is a good start. And I mean, I guess this boxing class, because I was thinking, a group fitness class that could be a way to simultaneously get in shape and socialize. Maybe I'll even meet somebody. I mean, that's a cope, obviously, but hey, couldn't hurt to at least, every now and then have some small talk with someone, which I'm sure that will happen. But yeah, so the funny thing is, I've just been stressing out, like have given myself a panic attack over the idea of having to call this place or just show up to this place unannounced and try and like walk in and be like, hey, I'm thinking about joining the gym, signing up, and I just that it makes me so nervous just the thought of doing that. Well, I'm looking at this place's website the other day, or yesterday, and they have like a form you can fill out. So basically, long story short, I just sent the place an email. I just sent them an email saying I want to join, and they responded back immediately. I mean, literally within like 2 or 3 minutes, I get a response to my email, and the guy, like, I guess it's the owner of the gym because his name is in the name of the gym. But anyways, he responds back and he's like, "Yeah, come into class today. Come into class this evening." And he actually told me, show up about 15 minutes early. We'll get you started. Get you a pair of gloves, get you some wrist wraps, because I guess they just give you a pair of cheap gloves and wrist wraps included with the gym membership. So that's pretty cool. So I don't have to like shop around for that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I go into class and it's like a small gym. It didn't even look like there would be a gym there because it's just kind of in the back of a strip mall and it's just like offices or something all around it. But anyways, I go in, and oh god, of course I had to make my entrance as I had to make my entrance as utterly awkward as humanly possible. I mean, just as awkward as humanly possible. So what happened was I walk up and this place is like the front of it is all glass, right? So you can completely see inside and there's like it's like a small entry room and they've got like a little desk and there was like a couple guys sitting there. Well, there's like one guy sitting at the desk and one guy standing there talking and they can see out, I can see in. So I walk up to the doors and there's like two doors that both have handles, right? So it's like double doors, glass doors. And one of the doors on it has a sign that says pull. Like somebody just put a piece of paper and they wrote pull with marker. So I'm like pulling the doors and the weird thing is it didn't look like the handles for the door were clearly pull handles. They didn't look like something you'd push. So I didn't really get what the confusion was. Well, I walk up and I'm yanking on this door. I'm like pulling it and it's like, okay, it seems it's either stuck or it's locked or whatever. And I notice through the window, the guy at the desk kind of looks at me for a second as I'm pulling the door, but then looks away again. Well, I'm just like not able to get the door open. I don't know what's happening. It says pull on the door and I'm pulling. Well, anyways, I eventually like start knocking, and the guy, these two guys inside, they both had like, they kind of, I don't know what they're saying, but they both kind of look at each other and look at me like, one guy, the guy at the desk starts shouting at me, trying to like shout to me through the door. I can't really tell what he's saying. I think he's saying like, pull the door, just pull the door, or something like that. But I couldn't really hear him anyways. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and I just put my hands down. I just start standing there. I gave up with the door. Like, I'm not going to be able to open this. Guy walks over. So the guy from behind the desk gets up. He looks so reluctant how he's doing it. He gets up, which I later found out this guy is the owner of the gym. So yeah, so he gets up anyways reluctantly, comes over and just opens the door. He just pushes the door open from his end. So what it turns out was, right, it was double doors, and the only one of them opens. One of the doors is locked, I guess, permanently, and only the other one opens. Well, it was, the one that opens was the one, I guess, that had the sign on it that said pull, but I was pulling the other handle on the other door. But they're double doors, so I thought that went for both doors. So I'm over here pulling a door that I guess they just leave. I don't know. Let me know if the comments if you think that's confusing, because I think their door situation is confusing over there. But whatever. That got me started off on a awkward note. I think I kind of pissed the owner off a little bit because he had to stand up from his desk and walk over to me. But yeah, and he seemed a little frustrated too. Right when he opened the door to let me in, he's like he like tapped on the sign and he's like, "Yeah, you got to pull it," and I'm just like. I started to say, well, I tried pulling or whatever, because, push versus pull wasn't the problem. I was pulling the wrong door. And I guess, whatever, the sign's on that door. I didn't say anything. You know what? I didn't say anything, so it doesn't matter. So anyways, so I tell the guy, I'm the one that emailed, and he's like, yeah, I figured. Okay, so he sets me up with a pair of wrist straps and a pair of gloves. He shows me how to wrap my hands up and put the gloves on. Okay. And then he takes like 5 minutes to just show me, basic form for how to throw each of the different punches. So it's like a jab, I guess what you call a cross, or like a straight punch with your backhand. I don't know all the words. He was calling them like 1 and 2, right? Like 1 is your jab, 2 is with your strong hand. And then there's like a left hook, right hook, left uppercut, and right uppercut. So it's like 6 punches total. And you like make different combinations out of each of the punches. But anyways, so once class is getting closer to time for class to start, some more people start filtering in. It was about 10 people total, and about half of them were girls, actually, or women. So, I mean, the ratio was better than I thought, and actually there was a couple of the girls were pretty cute. Like, I was kind of surprised that I expected it to be like 90% men, but no, I mean, it was a decent amount of women there, and not bad looking either, some of them. So, yeah. And the way the class is structured is basically we all warm up for a few minutes, just like shadow boxing, and then we do kind of like a circuit where everybody's paired off with someone else. So if you're currently punching, somebody else will be holding mitts for you. And how should I explain this? So the way it starts off, half the people in the class have gloves, half the people in the class have mitts. And after each round, which I think was like 2 minutes, the bell goes off and then everybody switches partners. So at some point in the class, you'll be partnered up with each and every other person in the class. So you actually get some amount of small one-on-one interaction with each and every other person taking the class, which is good because I don't know if it's like this for anybody else, but I feel like I don't get anxiety nearly as bad in a one-on-one situation. Like in one-on-one interaction, I feel a whole lot more comfortable than I do if there's even like 2 or 3 people around. And I don't know if that's a common thing, but that's how it's always been for me, like my whole life. That I've actually, whatever friends or acquaintances I have been able to make throughout my life, it's always been from we were put in like some kind of one-on-one situation, or I was like forced into a situation where I had to interact one-on-one with a person. So I like that aspect of the boxing class, although it is like, when you're paired off with someone, you're only with them for like 2 minutes, I think it is, and you're actively supposed to be doing an activity. So, your conversation is maybe limited a little bit to like what kind of punches you're supposed to throw and all that. But hey, and I mean, it's pretty cool. Definitely like that aspect. Yeah, so I definitely think this class could be, and that's probably just another delusional cope, but it could be a way for me to make friends, or even, hopefully I don't jinx it, maybe meet a girl. I don't know. I don't know why I even say that. That's cope. We all know that's cope, but yeah, the class is an hour long. I mean, it's basically like HIIT, like high intensity interval training. I think that's what that stands for. It's basically like, you 2 minutes of like all out cardio, then you take like a minute break, and then another 2 minutes or whatever. And you're doing that basically for an hour. So it's rough. I mean, I barely made it through. By the end of it, my punches were like, my arm was barely extending out. I mean, I know I looked pathetic. I even think a couple of the guys that were like holding the mitts for me near the end of the class, they kind of seemed like they were, their reaction to how like physically incapable I was of moving my body in the correct way at that point. It was, I mean, I could tell they kind of thought I was pathetic. But that's okay. I am kind of pathetic, but hopefully I'll get in better shape. So, yeah. And the way the membership for the gym works is kind of like you pay a price. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but they have classes like 6 days a week. So I can go 6 days a week. I can go pretty much every day. Like if I wanted to, I could take 2 classes 6 days a week and be at the gym all the time. But yeah, I'm not sure how much I'm going to go. I'm thinking either every day or every other day at first, kind of get accustomed to it. But I don't know, man, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sore as hell after today. Like I said, I just got done with the class. Just got home and took a shower, so I don't know if I'll have the courage to like actually talk to anyone in the class. Because, yeah, there is like after class, there is kind of a moment where everybody's got to like take their gloves off, unwrap their hands, and change shoes, and just get everything together and get packed up to leave. And I noticed at that part after class, there was definitely some people making conversation with each other. Like it seemed like people kind of knew each other, I guess, just from taking the class. Nobody talked to me, but I was kind of doing my thing where I'm off as far in the corner as possible, trying to not really make eye contact with anyone because I'm, story of my life. I'm a scared little mouse, basically. But yeah, there's definitely, if I get a little bit braver, maybe I'll look people in the eye and someone will talk to me. Or maybe I'll even, get up the courage to make conversation with someone. But yeah, anyways, overall, I would say it was a positive experience. So I'm definitely feeling pretty hopeful right now. Feeling more hopeful than I have in a good while. So I'm gonna stick with this for now. I'll let you know if there's any updates, anything interesting happens in class. But yeah, that's about it for today. I just wanted to tell everybody my small victory of going to boxing class. There it goes. There it goes. The one positive thing I have in my miserable fucking life. Now, I don't know. Man. Maybe it's not over. Maybe I can go back. But anyways, yeah, what I'm talking about, if you saw the title of the video, you already know. Yeah, basically, I got my ass kicked in boxing class. And it's just so... Man, shit like this is the kind of thing that always happens to me. Anytime I put forth any effort in my life, I could just get beat down. And usually it's not literally beat down, but in this case it was. I mean, All right, all right. Let me just tell you what happened. I went to boxing class, and this just happened. I just got back. So I was at boxing class, and we're doing the usual thing. I think I mentioned it before, but the way the class works, it starts off, half of the class has gloves on, the other half of the class all has mitts, and everybody partners up. So one person's punching, and their partner's holding the mitts for them. And then we do it in rounds. So, like every 2 minutes, basically, you switch partners and you cycle back around. And depending on how many people there are, you might cycle back around to the same partner again. Okay. So, basically, while we're doing a drill, this one guy is holding mitts for me. And I mean, I've seen this guy in class a couple times before. And at first, I actually thought he might work at the gym or something because he always kind of acted like he's an instructor. Like he would always be giving me pointers or whatever, but sometimes it felt like the advice he's giving isn't really in line with what what the actual instructor says. So I don't know. But anyways, this guy's holding mitts for me, and he's kind of coming off like a dick because he keeps trying to tell me like, oh no man, you got to move your hips like this. No, you're supposed to do it like this. No, make sure your ankle rotates like this. And it's really pissing me off because it's just not at all like what the instructor has told me. So I just don't feel like this guy knows what he's talking about. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I used to think he actually worked for the gym, but now I'm pretty sure he doesn't because the more I've, had some one-on-one work with the instructor, the more I realize this guy is just full of it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So anyways, I'm not following his advice at all, and it seems like he's getting kind of frustrated about that, and he just won't shut up. I mean, he just keeps going, no man, you got to fix your stance. No man, put your feet more like this. It's just, so eventually this guy just won't shut up. So eventually I'm just like, hey, I don't want your advice. Okay. I said that. And I mean, I'm actually kind of proud of myself for that when I usually don't stick up for myself like that. But I was just like, hey man, I don't need your advice. Okay. And I said it, I would say sternly, So anyways, when I said that, he was just like, okay, have it your way. I'm just trying to help you out, man. And yeah, so he kind of backed off for a while, but yeah, then our round was about over at that point anyway. So the bell dinged and I rotated partners. Well, eventually I rotated back around to where this guy's holding the mitts for me again. And as soon as I walked up, this pissed me off. So I should have decked this motherfucker right then and there. As soon as I walk up, this guy says something like, oh, look, it's Mr. Tough Guy again. Oh, look, it's Mr. Tough Guy again. Let's see what you got. He said that. That's what pissed me off. When he said, I don't even know, man, to call me Mr. Tough Guy because because I decided to stick up for myself when this guy's giving me BS advice the entire time. I'm trying to actually learn how to defend myself. I'm trying to actually learn how to throw punches correctly, and I'm trying to get a good workout in. Every time this guy interrupts the flow of my actual boxing workout to just say some useless advice, it's just not helpful. So, oh look, it's Mr. Tough Guy again. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Like, it's so fucking condescending. That really pissed me off. I honestly should have just decked this motherfucker, but whatever. So when he said that, I didn't even respond. I just looked at him. I just gave him a look that kind of said with my face, dude, shut the hell up. Dude, shut up. But again, I didn't say that verbally, but with my face, I think he kind of could tell. I think he could tell by the way I was looking at him. So anyways, we're doing this drill where I'm supposed to be throwing whatever combo he calls out. So basically the way it works is at this gym, there's like 6 main punches. It's like basically like a straight punch with your left hand, with your right hand. Then it's like a left hook, and left uppercut, right uppercut. And the punches are named at this gym. and I don't know if this is how it is at other boxing gyms. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. But basically, every punch has a number. So like the left jab is 1 and left hook is 3, I think. So, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so the way this drill works, this guy is supposed to call out a combo. So he'll say, I don't know, like 1, 4, 3, 6 or something like that. And then I'm supposed to do that combo, right? I'm supposed to throw those punches. Okay, so that's the drill we're doing. And again, I'm still punching and he's holding the mitts for me. So anyways, we're doing that drill and I felt like I was doing pretty good and I was really getting exhausted by this point, but I have been, really starting to get the hang of different combos, especially the more common ones we've been doing. And I'm kind of getting the hang of how to move my feet. Because there's a lot of footwork in boxing. It's not just moving your arms and stuff. You gotta move your feet, move your hips, and yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of that a little bit. And yeah, well, eventually, this guy says to me, he's yeah, and this is I hate people like this. They just think they know better. Like he must think he's better than me. He's because it's so condescending. Because I've already told this guy I don't need his help. But anyways, so I don't know, after like 30 seconds of doing this drill, he says something like, he's like, I'm telling you, man, you got to spread your legs further apart and use your hips, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember exactly what he said. It was something about my stance, right? He's like, I'm telling you. And the way he led off with this, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, man, like, yeah, I know you're telling me. I know you're telling me a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, I don't remember exactly everything he said then, but it just really pissed me off. Because the thing is, he said something about my stance, and I'm like 99% sure my stance was fine. Like, I had my stance set exactly how the instructor, because just in the last class I was at a couple days ago, the instructor was working with me one-on-one on my stance. And I was doing it exactly how the instructor had told me in the previous class. So this guy telling me about fixing my stance, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So anyways, that really pissed me off. He said, I'm telling you, man, you gotta fix your stance. And yeah, that just really pissed me off. So after he said that, I immediately responded just, okay. I said it like that. I basically just, very stern, almost to the level of shouting, but not quite shouting, I guess, but very sternly just, okay, and I didn't change anything about my stance, of course. It was a very, I was trying to go just a very dismissive okay. But you want to know what this douchebag said? You want to know what this guy said? He paused for a second like he was thinking, and he said, you know what, man? I'm not even going to say anything. Which is like, yeah, you did say something. You know what, man? I'm not even going to say anything. As if, and it's like the way he said it, as if I'm out of line. I'm the one that's out of line, not him. Yeah, I'm the one not out of line, not this guy giving unsolicited advice, trying to act like he owns the gym when he doesn't even work there. And I don't know how long he's been going there. Like, he's obviously more experienced than I am, but that doesn't mean he's on the level of an instructor. You know what, man? I'm not even going to say anything. So condescending. Like, what is wrong with people like this? So anyways, after that, he kind of shut up for a second. He just called out another combo and we just kept going with the drill. And at this point, I admit I was like really pissed off and it kind of was giving me some extra energy. So, I felt like I was throwing my punches extra hard. It's funny because if that was what this guy was trying to do, he's just trying to act like a dick on purpose to make me mad. So I punch harder, give me a second wind, basically. Well, if that's what he was trying to do, he did a damn good job of it. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't because man, that would be some like true like master manipulator shit if he did that. But yeah. So anyways, he calls out a few more combos and, I'm punching hard, I'm doing good. And it's also funny because at that point, the guy's facial expression kind of changed. Like he was smirking a little bit in a way that it seemed like he was, like now he was satisfied with how I'm doing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of imagining things, but because this all happened so fast. Everything I'm telling you happened within, a matter of, less than 2 minutes, because 2 minutes is how long these rounds are. So anyways, this is where things take a turn for the worse. And I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened because everything was going good. Man, this guy, he called out this one combo, and the weird thing is it wasn't even a difficult combo. It was, I forget what exactly it was, but it was something like 1-2-3-2, or one of the like more common combos that we've been doing since I've been at this gym. And I swear to God, I don't know how this happened, but somehow I'm throwing this combo and something, I don't know. I missed the mitt. He's holding the mitt for me. I missed. I punched this guy hard as hell right in the middle of his chest. I punched this guy right in the middle of his chest, and I swear to God, it was a complete accident. I don't even know how it happened. Like my foot slipped or something, and I just missed, and I punched him in the chest. And the thing is, I can understand he would not like being punched in the chest. Obviously, no one would. But it was obviously an accident. It was obviously an accident. As soon as my fist made contact with this guy's chest, I immediately started trying to say, sorry, I'm sorry, it was an accident. Sorry, it was an accident. But that didn't matter. I don't even know if I managed to even get a word out at all, because as soon as I punched him in the chest, he punched me right in the fucking jaw. He punched me right in the jaw. And I don't think I was actually knocked out. It depends what you mean by knocked out. I don't think I actually lost consciousness, but all I remember is he punched me in the jaw, and then next thing you know, it was like, that's why I say I don't think I lost consciousness, so I don't think I was actually knocked out, because I kind of remember all this, but when he punched me, I just immediately, my knees buckled. I couldn't continue standing up, which, I don't know, it was weird, but I guess that's how it goes. So he punched me in the jaw, I go down, and this is the other thing, I was able to kind of catch myself, right? So I just kind of fell to one knee, right? I caught myself with my hand, so I didn't fall face flat on the ground, And yeah, so then I was down. I just remember I'm down, kind of like kneeling on one knee, head down, and everything feels it's kind of just like, I felt kind of lightheaded, like when you stand up too fast, it just felt kind of dizzy. I tried to stand up, but then it just, as I was kind of moving upward, it just felt really lightheaded, so I just went back down to rest for a second, and I don't know, man. I just felt kind of wobbly, and the next thing I know, I remember I'm hearing this guy, and he's saying he's talking real fast, and he's just he hit me first, I was just defending myself, he hit me first. And then I hear the instructor, and he's, what happened over here? And this guy just, he hit me first, the instructor, what happened over here? Everybody, and it felt like everybody was just repeating themselves. Everybody's talking really fast. I can't even remember who said what first, and just because I'm just down on the ground, just dizzy. I think it was at this point that I could just tell, okay, I'm crying now. I'm on the ground. I just got punched, and I'm just crying. Full 35-year-old man. I'm at a boxing gym full of a bunch of tough guys, and again, there's actually some cute girls there, and I'm on the ground crying. I'm on one knee, and I'm just tears streaming down my face. And if you've seen in my other video, I mentioned, I'm prone to crying. I can't really fucking help it. It's not because of the physical pain, because it doesn't, even now, it's it can find maybe some soreness in my jaw. I don't know. Maybe it'll be worse tomorrow. My head feels fine, but it's not the physical pain, just the anxiety of the situation, just the adrenaline. I don't know. I had tears streaming down my face, just on the floor, the middle of the gym, in front of everybody. Well, anyways, might as well finish this story. So the instructor helps me up. He kind of tells everybody, okay, all right, everybody get back to work. And then he helps me up, and I was feeling a little bit lightheaded at that point, but I could walk. So I walk with the instructor. He kind of leads me outside. So we're just standing on the sidewalk in front of the gym. he asked me what happened, and I just explained it again. Like, I told him I was trying to punch the mitt, and I don't know what happened, if I just slipped, or I don't know what happened. I accidentally hit him in the chest. I just missed the mitt. That's all it was. I was trying to punch the mitt, and I just missed. And the instructor seemed pretty understanding. And again, at this point, as I'm talking to him, I'm having trouble getting the words out. It's so embarrassing. And I'm sure maybe some of you know about this, especially if you're a high inhibition male like me. You might know that when you're crying, it's hard to talk when you've got tears streaming down your face. So it's just embarrassing. It's just so humiliating. But anyways, I'm just explaining as best I can. I was trying to punch the mitt, and I just slipped, and I missed. It was an accident. And the instructor seemed pretty understanding, thankfully. He said something like, he was like, all right, man, these things happen. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. And I think because I was crying, I think he was maybe being nicer to me because I was crying. I don't know. But either way, he seemed to be pretty understanding. He was pretty cool about it. So yeah, he was basically like, don't worry about it. I'll talk to the other guy and we'll figure this whole thing out. So I don't know. And then he was basically like, just go ahead, go home for the day and get some rest. And yeah, so I left, and I got back home. Now I'm here sitting in my car in the driveway. Don't want to walk back inside yet because my face, I don't know if you could tell, crying a little bit while I made this video. And after I cry, it's obvious, like my eyes are red. Basically, my dad's in the house, and I don't want him to see me like this. And I want to have to explain to him what happened. So yeah, and after this whole ordeal, I left, but I think the class was pretty much over at that point. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to manage to go back to that gym. It's the one positive thing I have going in my life right now. I need to go back. But I don't know, man. Like, if I'm going to be able to go back, there's no way I'm going back tomorrow. And because that guy, the other guy is going to be there, probably. I don't know. He's been there at least half the time that I've gone to the gym. That guy is there. I don't know. It just feels so, like, after I just cried in front of everybody, and then to just go back, I don't know if I can handle that, man. I don't know if I can handle that kind of situation, man. My anxiety is already bad enough just going on a regular day. After everybody saw me get knocked out and cry on the ground, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll be able to go back. And the thing is, I'm not even really mad at the guy that punched me, because I can understand why he might have thought it was on purpose, because I guess there was some tension between us. Like, we had a bit of an argument or a few words back and forth. So I guess I can understand why in his mind, he felt like maybe I was talking trash, and then I punched him. And it's like, if I did punch him, then he deserved it. I would have been morally right to punch this guy with the way he was acting. So I can understand why he would have thought it was on purpose. And I don't even know if anybody around witnessed this. Like, I know they saw it after I hit the ground, but I don't know if anyone saw, me accidentally punch him in the chest and then him punch me in the jaw. I don't know if that was witnessed by anybody. So I don't know if there was any bystanders around and what they might think about what happened. I don't know. But to me, I think probably to most people, it was obviously an accident. But I guess I can understand how this guy, to him, why he would think it was on purpose. So I don't know. I guess I can't really be that mad at him. I don't know. If I do go back to the gym, I'm thinking maybe I should just go up to that guy, and I'm not sorry, but maybe I should, just for the sake of like easing tensions, if I go back to the gym in a couple days or whenever it is, and I see that guy there, should I just go up to him and just be like, hey man, I'm sorry about that. It was an accident. I hope you understand. and just kind of apologize, say sorry, but also while explaining, it was an accident. I don't know. He seems like a pretty stupid guy that is not very reasonable. Like, he just has a bad attitude and thinks he's better than everybody else. It's kind of the vibe he gives off. But I don't know, man. Maybe for the sake of just easing tensions, I should do that. But even, man, my anxiety is going to be at an all-time high the next time I go to the gym. If I do. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know if I can. I really don't. But that's the story of how I got knocked out at the gym, fell to the ground, and cried in front of everybody like a little bitch. Kind of got a mix of emotions going on right now. I officially got banned from the boxing gym, and that just because I don't understand. So, what happened was I finally built up the courage to go back to the gym after, I don't know, I think it's been about a week. And what really sucks about this is that, I almost didn't even have enough courage to go back just from the humiliation of it all. And if you don't know, I made a video about this, but last time I was at the gym, I kind of got in a fight, or more so, a guy attacked me after I accidentally punched him. And I ended up pretty much getting knocked out and crying in front of everybody at the gym. It's just absolutely humiliating. Probably one of, if not the most embarrassing moment of my life. Certainly the most embarrassing moment I've had in the past 5 to 10 years. But anyways, so today I finally get up the courage to go back to the gym because, again, the gym is probably the only positive thing I have going in my life. It helps me get a little bit of socializing, a little bit of exercise, actually a lot of exercise, and yeah, it's just good for me. So I knew I had to go back. I finally get up the courage to go back, and I walk in the door, and as I'm starting to head over to the side to put my bag away and start changing my shoes and fixing up my hand wraps and everything, the owner of the gym walks up to me and he just goes, "Hey, didn't you get my message?" And he sounds really pissed off when he's saying this. And he's like, "Hey, didn't you get my message?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, I left you a message. You need to go. You're not welcome here anymore. You need to go. You're not welcome here anymore. Your membership's been canceled. You're not going to be charged. Just go ahead and leave." And, he said all that really fast, just your membership's been canceled. You're not going to be charged. Just go ahead and leave. And there were some other people from my class around witnessing this, and this in itself was pretty embarrassing. And the thing too, if you watch my last video about this, then you know that this is the same instructor from the gym. I think he's the owner, that after the original fight happened, or I guess it wasn't much of a fight, basically I just got my ass kicked, but after that happened, this guy was acting all cool about it, He was acting like it's not going to be a big deal and I'm going to be able to come back to the gym and it's all over with. But now he was acting like, I don't even know. Clearly, something has changed. I guess after he talked to the guy that knocked me out, I don't know what that guy said, but apparently after he talked to that guy, I guess that guy convinced him that I was the aggressor in the situation, which, I guess I can understand because I did accidentally punch him in the chest, but I don't know. To me, I think it seemed obvious it was an accident, but whatever. Anyways, so I guess I'm kicked out of the gym, and I kind of tried to protest a little bit when this guy is telling me that I have to leave. I started to try and say, it was an accident. I didn't mean to punch him, which is what I had told him originally that he seemed to accept. He seemed to accept that story at first, but I guess now after he's talked to the other guy, he's changed his mind. It's pretty damn embarrassing too, this happening in front of everybody, because it's not enough for me to, and this is how my life goes, just anything good that happens in my life, it's not going to last long. Anything bad that happens in my life, it's just going to snowball and become an even worse and worse situation. It's just, I don't even, I laugh because it almost is funny. If it wasn't my life, if I was seeing this in a comedy movie or something, it could almost be funny. It's like a dark comedy. But No, it's my real life. So, yeah, anyways, I started to kind of protest before I was able to actually get any words out. This guy cuts me off and this really pissed me off because, I'm just trying to defend myself with my words, of course. This guy cuts me off. He's just, I don't want to hear it. Just turn around and walk out the door. I don't want to hear it. Just turn around and walk out the door. And then he said this. This was the dumbest, this is seriously the most melodramatic, dumbest thing I've ever heard someone say, that I've ever heard a grown man say. He said, we're here to learn boxing, not brawling. It's such a silly thing to say. It's so dramatic. We're here to learn boxing, not brawling. As if, it clearly seems he's of the opinion now, after talking to the other guy, that I'm the one that just completely started the fight. And I guess he's just not willing to accept that it was just an accident when I punched this guy in the chest. And shouldn't that be obvious? It's a punch in the chest. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm trying to start a fight, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to punch the guy in the chest. That's where I sucker punch a guy, in the chest. Why wouldn't I have punched him in the head? Why would I have not punched him in the face? Like, this doesn't make any sense. We're here to learn boxing, not brawling. So stupid. I don't know. But that whole situation had me messed up, man. I started to feel tears welling up when that happened. Thankfully, I was able to hold it back, but I just turned around and I walked out. What are you going to do? I just turned around and I left. And I guess that's it. That's it for me in my boxing career. Probably that's it for me in my doing anything career. I can't even imagine joining any other kind of gym or any other kind of group activity at this point. That lasted what, 2 weeks maybe? And then all this happens? What are the chances? What are the chances? Because I feel like all of this, it almost sounds like it's something that could have happened to anyone theoretically, right? Anyone might accidentally slip and punch a guy in the chest, but I don't know. These things don't seem to happen to regular people. They just happen to me. I really don't get it. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think I might be cursed. And I don't actually believe in anything supernatural, so I know I'm not actually cursed, but just damn, what is it? Why do these things happen to me? I don't know. So anyways, here's where the situation gets weirder. As I said earlier, I have kind of a mix of emotions right now, and that's because as I'm walking out of the gym feeling really down in the dumps after getting kicked out based on a misunderstanding, which I already got punished for physically by getting my ass knocked out, but whatever. I'm walking back to my car, and there's this girl in the parking lot, a girl that's in the class, and she's walking toward the gym, and as she gets closer to me, she's like, hey, you're the guy that punched Jeremy. And I kind of started to say, yeah, but it came out more like a whisper, which is basically the story of my life. I'm not good at, when someone talks to me, I get nervous and I can't control the volume of my voice. Usually it comes out softer than I would want it to. But anyway, so this girl said, hey, you're the guy that punched Jeremy. And I say, yeah, or I nodded my head or something. Because then she goes, you know my friend that usually comes with me, the Asian girl? In which I do, so I don't know, maybe I nodded my head or she just kept talking, I don't remember. So she's, my friend that usually comes with me, the Asian girl, I don't know why, but she said she wanted to give you her number. And so this statement in itself causes a whole mixed range of emotions for me because, so for one, a girl wants to give me her number. That is simultaneously the most elating, the most joyful news I've had in years or in my whole life maybe, and simultaneously terrifying, frightening, because, is this some kind of trick? Like, there's no way a girl actually likes me. And then also, the way that this girl presented this information, she said, I don't know why, but she said she wanted to give you her number. So, this girl that's telling me about her friend, is kind of treating me in a way that, that I'm ugly, basically, which is the truth. But it's just weird that her friend wants to give me her number. Because I don't know, it usually seems like when there's girls that are friends, that girls very much have a group mentality where it's like they don't want to date a guy, or they don't think a guy is attractive until they know that the rest of their friends approve of that guy, right? And this girl here seems to not approve of me. She seems to think I'm ugly, and that's why she's saying, I don't know why, but she said she wants to give you her number. So that's the impression I got off. I don't know why else she would say, I don't know why, but whatever. So I actually ended up giving this girl my number, and she said she would give my number to her friend and that she would text me or something. So I don't know. I'm very iffy about this because I don't know. Is this some kind of trick? And the thing is, I'm pretty sure I know who this girl is, the girl that wants me to have her number, because she is the only Asian girl in the class, and it is the only other girl in the class that I've noticed seems like she's always talking to this other girl that was in the parking lot. So I'm pretty sure that must be her friend that she's talking about. So, yeah, I truly am baffled here because this girl is actually pretty cute. Also, the other thing, this girl is pretty young, right? Like, if you don't know, I'm a total old cell. I'm 35 years old. And if anything, I look older than I am, right? Because I'm bald. I have a lot of gray and white hair in my beard. I mean, it's just, I don't look good. I don't look good at all. And I look old. And this girl, I don't know how old she is, but I kind of assume she's like college age. Like she looks like in her early 20s. She looks really young. And her friend does too. That's the thing. It's these two girls that are always, I mean, I just assumed they came to the gym together, but I don't know. But they're always talking to each other anyways, and they both look college age, right? They look about the same age. So, yeah, I'm assuming they are. So, yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, maybe there's something else than it can't be, usually if a girl wants you to have her number, that means that she's interested in you, but it doesn't make any sense in this case, unless, I mean, maybe the only thing I can think of is it has something to do with that she just really didn't like the guy that knocked me out. And the other thing too, I'm pretty sure that girl, the Asian girl, I'm pretty sure she was not at the gym the day that I got knocked out, which is good because that means she didn't see me crying in front of everybody. And I can't remember if her friend was there, but I think she was because there wasn't that many people there that day. There was probably like 10 people or less. So, and sometimes there's a lot of people. Sometimes it gets up to where it seems more like there's like 30 to 40 people, and sometimes it's a lot less. It just really depends on the day. But yeah, on that particular day when the fight happened, I think that the girl that I, had run into in the parking lot, I think she was there, but her friend, the one that wants me to have her number, I think that she wasn't there. So, yeah. The only thing that seems the most logical to me is that this girl just has something against the guy that knocked me out. And so that's why maybe she just wants to say thank you or something. Like, surely she's not interested in me. I wish I would have asked the girl that I talked to in the parking lot for more info on this. Like, why does she? But I guess maybe she didn't know because she did kind of preface everything by saying, I don't know why, but she wants me to give you her number. So I don't know, man. This all, like I said, huge mix of emotions right now, The boxing gym is officially done for me. I'm officially banned. And you know how bad that feels it would be one thing if I just wasn't able to go for some reason, right? Like say I break my leg, that would suck and I would feel pretty bad about it. But at least I wouldn't have the complete social ostracization, you know? Just the fact that I'm being ostracized, I'm banned from the gym. And it's not really my fault, it's just
It's a total misunderstanding. Yeah, I'm the one that accidentally slipped and punched this guy in the chest, but it was a total accident. I don't feel like I deserve to be banned from the gym because, again, I didn't actually try to assault anybody. And I actually feel like I got assaulted. And it's just so humiliating. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to feel at the moment because what a roller coaster. I mean, this is really something for me. I can't even think of the word to describe it, but just the roller coaster of emotions, the extreme low of getting banned from the gym, and then to immediately, like 30 seconds after that, as I'm walking to my car in the parking lot, having this girl approach me, basically telling me that her friend likes me or her friend wants me to have her number or whatever. And it's just from one extreme low to a very confused high. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't. I know so far this video is going to sound like a total, I mean, this this might just be pretty much unlistenable because, man, I really don't know. And I am kind of afraid that this could be some kind of setup because it seems pretty odd. A girl wants me to have her number. This girl that, again, I'm pretty sure she's young, like in her early 20s. She wants me, old ass, bald ass, 35 years old, out of shape, loser that gets knocked out and cries in front of everybody in the gym. She wants me to have her number. For what? What does she want? Surely she's not interested in me. Is this some kind of honeypot, some kind of scam where she gets me to meet up with her somewhere so that guy can beat me up some more? I'm truly worried that that is what the situation is. But I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to try to remain cautiously optimistic about this. I know that the chances that this cute Asian girl from the gym actually is interested in me in any romantic way, the chances of that are extremely low, but I don't know. It is a possibility. So I'm open to I mean, I guess the ball is in her court now, cuz I gave my number to her friend, so she's going to have my number so she can text me, I guess. And I hope to God she doesn't call me, right? I hope if anything she texts me or just nothing at all because I will not handle talking on the phone to a girl is not going to go well for me. I'm not going to be able to think of the things to say. I could have a conversation through text message. If I can have time to sit down and read what she said and think of what I want to say back and then type it out slowly over time, that I could manage. That is something I could manage to do. But if she calls me, I don't even know. I'll probably have a panic attack and not even answer the phone. Is probably what would happen. Or I'd answer the phone and just completely embarrass myself. I'd probably just sit there not able to say anything, and she'd be like, hello, hello, are you there? And then eventually she'd hang up, and then she'd never call me or try to contact me again, and it would all be over. And maybe that's what's going to happen. That might be what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much more to say for today. I'm officially banned from the boxing gym, but maybe there's a girl that likes me. Maybe. Probably not. All right, so the girl from the gym finally texted me. And for those of you that don't know the story, basically, just to give a quick recap, I joined a boxing gym. I'd been going there for like a week or two, and then I accidentally punched a guy at the gym and he knocked me out, which was humiliating. But, anyways, I went back to the gym a week later, and as soon as I walked in, I got told to leave. I got told that I was banned and not to come back. And as I was walking back to my car, a girl that I had seen in the gym a few times, she was in the parking lot and she approached me and she told me that her friend wants my number. And so I gave it to her to give to her friend. And that was almost a week ago now, and I still hadn't heard anything from her until now. So earlier today, this girl finally texted me, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So let me pull the conversation up real quick, actually. So the first thing she said was, she said, "Hey, this is," and she said her name. I guess to try to avoid any confusion, I'll just call her Gym Girl. So she said, "Hey, this is Gym Girl. My friend gave me your number." And yeah, because I had been eagerly awaiting to receive a text or maybe a call from this girl ever since I gave her friend my number, because I am a complete kissless, hugless, handholdless virgin. I'm a total loser. I'm 35 years old. I'm bald. I mean, I'm so old, mid 30s. I feel like it's over for me at this point. I've been feeling like this way for a long time. Then finally, I get some indication that maybe there is a girl that likes me. And yeah, so I have been eagerly awaiting to hear from this girl. So when she just said, "Hey, this is Gym Girl," she's not giving me a lot to work with there. Like, I'm still kind of confused about the whole situation. Like, does she like me, or did she just want to thank me for punching that guy? Because maybe she just really hates that guy or something. I mean, I really don't know what all this is about. So I really didn't know how to respond to her message at first. And I mean, it's funny because I guess if you're a girl, you just kind of know that you don't need to put in any actual effort when it comes to communication. Like, the standards of what strong communication skills means for a female is literally just sending any text at all. As men, we're expected to be the ones that lead the conversation, come up with all the ideas for what to talk about, and yeah, just, leading the conversation. That's really, expected to be the responsibility of the man in any interaction. So I guess I was kind of seeing it. I was kind of seeing it in real time here, which doesn't happen for me very often because, girls don't talk to me. But anyways, yeah, after her first message, I just didn't really know what to say, didn't know how to respond to that. So it actually took me a while to respond. Like, I probably spent 30 minutes at least trying to think of how to respond to that message. And well, it's funny because after all that overanalyzing and sitting there trying to think of the perfect response, I just said, "Hey, what's up?" So the conversation so far, she says, "Hey, this is Gym Girl. My friend gave me your number." I said, "Hey, what's up?" Then she responded pretty much immediately. She said, "Nothing much. You know who this is, right?" And then I said, "Yeah, I remember you from the gym. You're always talking to," and then I said her friend's name. And then I said, "Just curious, why did you want my number?" Because I have been wondering, like, why. I mean, it baffles me. Because again, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but this girl she's pretty cute, actually. And, she's not a 10 out of 10 or anything, but she's not bad. And she's definitely way out of my league. Like, she's actually more than my looks match. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not even my looks match. She's better looking than I am, actually. And she seems pretty young too. And again, I'm 35 years old. So yeah, so I was just really, I genuinely was curious, like, why does she want my number? So I asked her, just curious, why did you want my number? And, and she just responded, "You punched Jeremy, LOL." Like, uh, which is funny because that's kind of like, well, yeah, I already knew that part. Like, I knew that the fact that I punched this guy was kind of the catalyst that leads to her wanting my number. But is it because she just really hates that guy? Or is it because she saw me as brave or something? You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out, like the question I really want the answer to is, are you interested in me romantically? Like, do you like me? Do you actually like me? But, I can't just come out and say that. I don't want to say it wouldn't be appropriate, but, it would be weird. So, yeah, I mean, I just really couldn't think of what to say. So I was sitting there for a while just overanalyzing things, trying to think of what to send this girl to, like, get the information I want to kind of try and move things forward. Because ultimately, I would love to get something going with this girl, but, I would love to get something going with any girl basically at this point. But again, this girl's actually kind of cute. So yeah, this is like an opportunity I never could have even imagined coming to me. So, anyways, I'm trying to think of the perfect response. Eventually, I decided, I'll just wait for a little bit. I'll wait for like about an hour and I'll see if she sends something else. So I waited for exactly 1 hour. I timed it and she did not send anything else. So I figured, screw it. I don't really have anything else to lose here. I mean, if I don't say anything at all, then I'm definitely not going to get with this girl. So I might as well say something, you know? I could sit here and overanalyze it all day, but I might as well just say something. So I said, I guess I just don't understand why a girl like you would want my number. And she responded to that immediately. And she said, what do you mean, a girl like me? And I said, I mean, you're young and pretty. And let me tell you, I hesitated to even send that message at all because after I typed it out, I mean, it's just like such a bold message, to tell her just straight up, like, you're pretty. Because I guess that's kind of me telling her, well, I like you. So, even though, I mean, I don't know her personality, but not that not that I can even be that picky at all, right? I think she's pretty and she's young. So, like, that's it for me, I would take a girl that's not pretty and young at this point. So, right. Anyway, so I was really nervous after I sent that message. Like, my heart was pounding out of my chest immediately when I sent that message. And I kind of regretted it as soon as I sent it because it's just like, because I start thinking again, like, there's no way this girl actually likes me. Like, this is either some kind of trick, some kind of setup, or it's just some kind of innocent thing where she just, has something against the guy that knocked me out and she just wants to like say thank you to me or something like that. So, anyways, I sent the message. I said, I mean, you're young and pretty. And she texted back pretty much immediately again. And she said, stop. She said, stop in all caps with the exclamation point. Stop. I am not pretty. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and recap the whole conversation so far up to this point, just because I've been talking a lot and it would be like easier for us all to understand the flow of conversation if I did that, I think. So, yeah, so it started off, she said, hey, this is Gym Girl. My friend gave me your number. I said, hey, what's up? She said, nothing much. You know who this is, right? And I said, yeah, I remember you from the gym. You're always talking to her friend. And then I said, just curious, why did you want my number? And she said, you punched Jeremy, LOL. And then I said, I guess I just don't understand why a girl like you would want my number. And then she said, what do you mean, a girl like me? And then I said, I mean, you're young and pretty. And then she said, stop, I am not pretty. And then she said, what, pretty girls don't like you? And this next one, I'm actually pretty proud of this because I think it was actually pretty smooth. I said, and I thought of it pretty quick too. And so she said, stop, I am not pretty. What, pretty girls don't like you? And I said, maybe one does. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of that. I think that was pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, that was kind of the more important part of the conversation. I don't want to bore you with the details of every single message we sent back and forth, but basically, I did tell her that I'm 35 years old, and I asked how old she is. She said she's 24, which is older than I thought she was because she actually looks young. Like, I was thinking she's probably more like 20, 21, but yeah, she said she's 24. From how the conversation has been going so far, it seems like she is interested in me, I think. I probably should ask her to hang out or something, but I don't even know how to do that. Like, I don't know if I should ask her out for dinner or like for a coffee date or what. I really don't know. So I guess if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. Just leave a comment or whatever. But yeah, this whole thing is just really weird. Like, she never directly said that she is interested in me romantically, and I never directly asked, but it's just kind of the vibe I'm getting. So I don't really know how to explain it, but that's just how it seems to me. But also, I'm kind of like, I'm socially retarded, y'all. I think I'm autistic or on the autism spectrum. I'm just usually not really good at reading these kind of things. So I could be totally wrong. I could be totally misreading this thing. But yeah, the conversation kind of wrapped up. We kept texting for a while after the messages I've already told you about. And it was kind of just general conversation, I guess you could say. I told her I got banned from the gym, and she said, hold on, let me see if I can find that one. Right, I told her I got banned from the gym because I didn't know if she knew that or not. And she said, ouch, can't really be too surprised, which, I mean, it was surprising to me, but yeah, I didn't tell her that it was just an accident when I punched the guy because it seems like that's that's like the whole main reason that she's even attracted to me in the first place. And it seems like she thinks I did it on purpose, so whatever. We'll just go with that for now. I'm not gonna not gonna correct her for now. I don't want to be dishonest, but at the same time, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mess this up because it's kind of like there's a miracle happening right now. And who am I to stand in the way of God's work? And by the way, I still don't know why she's so happy about me punching that guy. I guess she just really hates that guy or something, or I don't know. Like, because I had seen her at the gym before. I had seen this guy at the gym before, and to my knowledge, I mean, I never really noticed them interacting much any more than anyone else interacts. So I really don't know. I really don't know what the deal is. And I didn't want to like ask her a bunch of questions about it and grill her about it. She didn't really say anything about it either, so I don't know. This whole thing, it's really weird, man. This whole thing is just strange. Like, I'm baffled. I am baffled by this. It doesn't make sense that a girl like this, or any girl, or any woman would be attracted to me or like me, even personality wise, which maybe that's what this is about. She thinks I'm brave or something for starting a fight, which again, I didn't really do, or I mean, I guess I did, but it was an accident. I don't know, but yeah, I'm staying cautiously optimistic because I don't know, this whole thing, it could be a trick. Like this could be some kind of setup. Like she's trying to lure me. I keep thinking maybe she's going to eventually ask me to meet her somewhere and then I'm going to get jumped. So I really don't know what's going on here. But this totally could just be some kind of elaborate ruse. But from texting back and forth with her so far, which hasn't been a whole lot, it's just been one day so far, basically one conversation. But I mean, she seems pretty genuine. But I don't know, man. I really don't know. Another thing I was wondering, I mean, because I have heard of cases like this where maybe this girl just has a fetish for old guys, or maybe even like a fetish for old, ugly guys. Because that's the only that's the only way I can make sense of this. Because there's no way this girl finds me attractive. There's no way. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and the other thing too is, like I say, I was in boxing class with this girl before. I talked about this in an earlier video, but the way that boxing class is structured is that each and every person in the class at some point is paired up with each and every other person. For at least 2 minutes of each class, you do a one-on-one drill with each other person that's in the class. So I had done drills one-on-one with this girl before a couple times, and she never really said anything to me other than what's necessary to complete the drill. And same for me. I never really said anything to her. So I never got any indication from her that she was interested in me at all. So again, that just really adds to the whole mystery of all this. I just really don't know what's going on. So now I don't know. I mean, the conversation kind of wrapped up for today, but I don't know if, like, tomorrow, should I text this girl or should I just wait and see if she texts me first? I have no idea how this works because I've never texted with a girl before. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't think I have ever texted with a girl before, ever. So I don't know. I don't know how to keep this going or how to get things moving forward, which I do want to do. Like I would love to go on a date with this girl or something, or just get to know her better, or if nothing else, just to figure out like what she's thinking. Like, what is this all about? Why does she want to talk to me? It's at this point, it's just like I just want to solve the mystery, if anything. I don't know, man. This is all weird. It's great. It's good. This is a good thing that's happening, unless it's not, unless this is all a setup, which it might be. I mean, that's I don't know. Like I said, cautiously optimistic. I'm going to go about this I'm just going to try and be cautiously optimistic because I don't know. Okay, so this will probably be shorter than most of my videos, but I just wanted to give a quick update on the situation with the girl from the boxing gym. So we texted a good bit the one day, the first day that she texted me. And then the next day, which was yesterday, she didn't text me at all. I didn't text her at all. You know, the whole day I'm thinking about it. To her, it's probably, just another day. And she probably gets texts from guys and her friends all the time. But, for me, nobody texts me, especially not cute girls from the gym. So I'm thinking, daydreaming about her all day, hoping that she'll text me, and she didn't, but that's okay. I didn't text her either because, I don't know if there's anything to it, but you always hear the red pill advice of, don't appear too eager, don't let her know you're that desperate and all that. So, yeah, so I didn't text her either. And that was yesterday. But then today, I was even thinking about, maybe today I'll text her. But luckily, I didn't even have to do that because while I was in the middle of thinking about what I would even send to her, I got a text from her. So she texted me and she just said, hey, but like with a lot of E's and a few Y's. So it was like a long, hey, that type of thing. Which I think is a good sign. I mean, it's kind of more flirtatious than just saying, hey, spelled correctly. But I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. But anyways, yeah, so she texted me first. But again, she didn't really give me much to go off of. And this is how it was, the first day that I was texting with her, right? She sends short texts, doesn't really offer up that much in terms of like leading the conversation. Like I have to lead the conversation both times today and the last time. I've had to lead the conversation pretty much 100%. But yeah, I guess that's just how it is for men in society. Anyways, she texted me, hey, and we were chatting a little bit. Again, I didn't really know what to say, so I think to her original message of hey, I just responded something like, hey, what are you getting into today? Or something like that. I don't know. Or, hey, how's it going, basically. Well, eventually she started asking me for my Snapchat, and yeah, I don't use Snapchat. I've never used it. I don't really use any social media. I do have a Facebook, but it's funny because she did actually, after I said I don't have Snapchat, she seemed disappointed. And at first she tried to convince me to get on Snapchat. And I definitely got the vibe that she thinks it's weird I don't have one, but whatever. But eventually she started being like, okay, well, what's your Instagram or what's your Facebook? And I just kept saying, I don't have that. I don't have that either. And I was actually lying about Facebook. I do have a Facebook, but I don't really use it. And I'm sure as hell don't want her to see it because, then she'll see what a loser I am. And that's the thing that kind of sucks about social media because it's like, for a sub-5 male, it's pretty much a lose-lose situation, right? There's no winning at all because if you do have social media and a girl sees that, she can see what an absolute loser you are, right? You don't have many photos. You don't have photos with other people. You're not getting comments from other people. You're not being tagged on other people's posts and all that. If I go on my Facebook, it's just a long line of my mom saying happy birthday. And then, each comment on my Facebook is like a year apart. And it's just my mom saying happy birthday, I love you. And occasionally tagging me in some random thing that she shares on Facebook. So yeah, I don't want her to see that. So I told her I don't have Facebook, I don't have Instagram, I don't have Snapchat. And I definitely was getting the vibe that she thinks that's weird, which, yeah, I already knew that's how it would be. But I don't know. I kind of just played it off like, yeah, I don't like using that stuff. I try to, just focus on, what did I say? I can't remember exactly what I said, but basically something like I try to just focus on the real world and not I don't know. It probably sounded pretty dumb what I said. But either way, I did get her Instagram handle. So I was able to look at her Instagram because I kind of had this sneaking suspicion in the back of my mind, right? Like the girl from the gym that I think I'm talking to right now, she is way too cute to be interested in me. Like it just doesn't make sense. So I really did want to be able to verify that I am talking to the girl I think I am. And yeah, so I got her Instagram and I looked it up, and yeah, it is her. It is the girl that I thought it was. And man, she is like, seriously, she is really cute. You know, I'd seen her in person, but then seeing her Instagram as well, she is, I don't know. I think I'm developing a bit of one-itis. And I mean, I guess this was bound to happen the second any girl shows interest in me. You know, I'm going to develop a bad case of one-itis, but yeah, it's happening. You know, I'm looking through her Instagram and it looks like she doesn't really use Instagram that much. She doesn't have that many photos, but yeah, it looks like she's done a bit of cosplaying, nothing major, and nothing too like slutty, you know, which I wouldn't like that, but yeah, she just has some cosplays, and I don't even know what characters. I think some anime characters from whatever. I'm not like huge into anime, so I don't know all the characters from different shows and stuff, but yeah, so she had some cosplay photos. I guess that's something she's into. So I guess she's kind of a nerdy girl or whatever. And she also had something on Instagram that referenced Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is one of my favorite games. I love the whole Fire Emblem series. Three Houses, especially, is just, I think that's like a masterpiece. But, anyways, it was pretty cool to see that she's actually into something that I'm into, right? Like, we have a common shared interest in Fire Emblem, of all things, which seems really weird to me for a normie girl like her to be into such an autistic video game franchise. But hey, it is what it is. So I actually texted her about that because, again, like, she doesn't give me much to work with in text. So I don't know what to talk about with her. So once I saw that on her Instagram, I sent her a text, you know, hey, you're a fan of Fire Emblem? And she was like, yeah. And we talked about that a little bit, which is pretty cool. And conversation just kind of petered out, kind of died out. I'm not good at keeping the conversation going. She doesn't seem to put that much effort in keeping the conversation going, but she did text me first, so that's a good sign, right? On something else this all reminded me of, going back to the topic of how if you're not on social media, everybody thinks that's weird. Because I think that's something that, you know, back when I was in the not too distant past, back when I was trying to find employment, when I was looking for a job, one thing that I think hurts me a lot is that I don't have LinkedIn. And I used to have a LinkedIn, so I guess there is an old LinkedIn with my name. I don't even know the password and email to like log into it, but yeah, I never put a picture up on there, and it's not updated at all. So I've always felt that that might be something that has been hurting my job prospects. Like, when recruiters get my resume, probably the first thing they do is they Google my name, and then they can't find anything on LinkedIn for me, or they just find my old not updated LinkedIn, and they see that and they're just immediately like, no picture on LinkedIn? Well, he might be a sub 5. Next. You know, I really think human resources departments across the country are Googling every name on every resume they come across to see, like, okay, is this person normal? Is this a normie? Is this another person like us? Will this person fit in and be a cog to our grand corporate machine? Will this person play along with the norms of society? Is this a regular person? That's the kind of thing they're looking for when they hire people for jobs. And I don't have that. And I guess that could hurt me. And finding a job is basically the same as finding a partner to date, except finding a job is probably a little bit easier because you can at least get a degree or like qualifications and stuff. When it comes to dating, there's nothing like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not exactly the same, but as far as how social media functions in our society, with how recruiters look for you on LinkedIn, it's kind of the same as how a girl you're talking to wants to see your Snapchat or see your Instagram to see how popular you are. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've already blown it with this girl by showing that I'm too fucking weird to not have any social media. But I don't know. She didn't seem too bothered by it. And again, she has some kind of nerdy stuff on her Instagram, you know, with the cosplaying and the reference to Fire Emblem. So seriously, guys, this girl is so cute. Like, I don't even know. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So yeah. There's one other thing. I wanted to ask you guys for help because I know that I need to move things forward with this girl. Like, I don't want this to say in text messages, I don't want to be in the friend zone. I want to get with this girl. I want to try to actually get to know her better. I want to be in person with this girl and go on a date or something, you know, or hang out in person. Even if I fail, I want to meet her in person. And I don't know how to do that because I can tell she's not going to come out and say it. I'm going to have to be the one to ask. I'm going to have to be the one to set it up. I'm going to have to be the one to come up with the idea for what we would do if we hang out in person. I'm going to have to be the one that asks her to hang out in person. So I have to take that step. But I do not know what to do. So I'm here before you, my YouTube viewers, and I humbly request that any of you out there tell me, what should I do? Give me some suggestions. Should I ask her to go out to get a coffee? But that seems weird to me because I've never gone to a coffee shop to get a coffee. So the whole idea seems weird. The thought of going to a bar or something like that, that makes more sense to me, but that's also, with my level of social anxiety, that's like extra nerve-wracking, right? What I would really love to do is just meet her one-on-one and just hang out. I mean, a coffee shop kind of sounds like a good idea. Or I was thinking like going for a walk in a park. Like there's some nice walking. There's a park near my house and it's kind of like halfway between my house and the boxing gym. So I assume, you know, this girl lives somewhere relatively close to that. And there's a park with a really nice walking trail. So I would kind of like to meet her there and just go for a walk. But I don't know if that's a normal, because when I watch TV shows and stuff, it doesn't seem like the kind of date people are going on. But I don't know, sometimes. But is that like a first date? Is that an appropriate thing? Does that make sense? Because also when I'm texting with this girl, I'm not 100% being myself, right? Like I even like thought of something funny to say, typed it out in the text, but then I had to delete it because I was like, no. She will immediately see that I am not normal if I send that. So I didn't because I have kind of a weird sense of humor. So yeah, I am trying to masquerade as a normie, at least until I get to know this girl better. And then maybe I can let a little of my real personality out. Probably not. That'd probably be a terrible idea. Because whenever I let someone see my real personality, see the real me, it always comes back to bite me. So that's probably not the thing to do. But yeah, I'm really at a loss here. I don't know how to move things forward with this girl. So I am really like, I don't know, infatuated or what. Like this girl, like she is so beyond my looks match. Like this girl is actually attractive. It seems like I mean, I don't know what she does for work. For all I know, actually, she could be unemployed, but I don't know. She seems, you know, at least looking at her Instagram, she seems like she has a good life. She's attractive. She has friends. Like, I really want to get to know her better, honestly. I'm developing one-itis. I know I am. Which is probably, you know, I shouldn't do that. But I don't want to let myself get too infatuated with this girl because inevitably I know like this is probably not going to work out because it never has before. You know, I've made it 35 years of my life and, you know, kissless, hugless, handholdless virgin. That's me. So I don't see it changing now, but I have this opportunity miraculously placed right in front of me and I have to at least try. So please give me some suggestions. How do I move this forward? Because I want to move this beyond texting. I got to move this forward, meet her in person. So yeah, that's about all I got for today. I did it again. I did what I always do. Anytime there's something even somewhat slightly positive in my life, anytime I've got a little bit of hope going on, I screw it up massively. And I always do it in the same stupid way. So since my last update with the gym girl situation, you know, we've been texting pretty much every day. You know, I've been putting off asking her out. I know I need to progress things, but
it's stressful. And, in the back of my mind, I still have this cope. I convince myself things like this to make my life more comfortable. But, I convince myself that, she'll make a move eventually. She'll move things forward eventually. She'll ask me to meet up in person. That'll happen eventually. I just got to wait it out and, be cool and flirtatious in my text messages. And, well, everything was going fine as far as the text messages. Every time I talk to her, I like her more and more. I know that's probably unhealthy that I have a full-blown case of one-itis at this point. Like, if this girl asked me to marry her tomorrow, I'm saying yes, no hesitation. She's perfect. In my mind, she is basically perfect, for real. She's adorable, cute, hot, sexy, beautiful, and she's nice. She's nice to me. She has similar interests. We both like Fire Emblem, for example. I mean, and I screwed it up because, well, it's like this. I was just getting stressed out. Like, as you can imagine, this is a stressful situation for a guy like me. So I'm getting stressed out more and more each passing day, It becomes more and more obvious to me that she's not going to make the move to meet in person. She's not going to send me the text asking me out on a date or, actually progressing things forward. I have to do that. I'm the man in the situation. I'm supposed to do that. I have to do that. Clearly, that's her expectation. If this is anything more to her than just a friendship, which I don't know, it could be that, But sometimes with some of the texts she sends, it just seems like she's being flirtatious. It seems like, I don't know. But anyways, I just kept getting more and more stressed out. And so I did what I do when I get a little bit stressed out. Inevitably, I let my stupid fucking my stupid fucking addictions control me. So I went out and I got some weed and I started smoking. And I know to some people that's not a big deal. For me, it's an absolute addiction. I mean, when I smoke, I have this bad habit where I just binge and I smoke nonstop till it's gone. And I finally smoked it all. It's gone now. But yeah, man, I've just been stoned out of my mind, shut off from everything, shut off from the world. I've pretty much not left my room in the past several days. I don't even know. So yeah, I haven't been texting her. I turned my phone off. I couldn't stand to look at it. Just the thought of this perfect specimen of a female texting me is just, I can't handle it, man. I just can't handle it. I turned my phone off. I know she's probably texting me. She surely has texted me between then. Because on most days, since my last update video, most days, we've been texting every single day. And most of those days, she texted me first. She would text me pretty early on, like 9 to 10 a.m., pretty much every day. Usually, not even saying good morning or anything, but just kind of continuing the conversation from last night when, we were still in the middle of a text conversation when we both fell asleep at night. So we're pretty much have been talking nonstop, and then all of a sudden, I get stoned, and that's that. Now I'm suddenly just ignoring her. I mean, I'm imagining from her perspective, she thinks I've just completely started to ignore her for some reason, and yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's pretty much over now. I've been ignoring her, and I mean, it's not just that, it's like. Because when I have something good going in my life, it kind of is a snowball effect in a positive way that, well, I'll explain it like this, since I've been talking to this girl, it kind of has motivated me a little bit. I started doing a bit of cardio. I started going on runs. I started doing some shadow boxing just in my garage. And, it's been good. I've been eating a little bit better. I've been cooking more of my own meals, choosing to eat less when we get fast food, choosing more healthier options that you can from fast food, although really it's all slop. But, there are some things, a grilled chicken sandwich is better than a fried chicken sandwich, for example. But so I've been making those choices. But No, since I got that weed and started smoking it, nah, nah. I've just been laying down and rotting. Lay down and rot in my room. That's what I've been doing. When I do eat, absolute slop. I've just been eating absolute slop. I'm talking about Hot Pockets and ice cream. Pretty much, I'm living off Hot Pockets and ice cream. Some people say the whole demotivational syndrome, that smoking marijuana, it doesn't actually decrease your motivation. That's a myth. That's just an old myth. No, it's not. It's not a myth. It's really like that. And you can't, there's no support. If you try to find a supportive community about the addiction of marijuana, like, no, people don't accept that. There's no AA meetings for someone that's addicted to weed. There's no WA or Marijuana Anonymous or whatever. It doesn't exist. But isn't that just, I mean, that's just the tragic comedy of my life, that the addiction that I would suffer from would be one that nobody takes seriously. Just like me being a bald incel loser, also, nobody takes that seriously. Just, I fucked it up, man. I don't know that I've ever wanted something as much as I want this girl, as much as I want it to work out with this girl. I wouldn't even mind I'm at the point, you can call this a cope if you want, but I'm at the point, I wouldn't even mind, like, I don't even have to be, like, I don't have to have her as my girlfriend. If this girl was my friend, at least that's a friend. I would take her as a friend. But how is that going to work now? How is that going to work now that she saw what I'm capable of, just flat out just cutting her off, just completely ignoring her? There's no coming back from this. There's no coming back from this. It's fucking over now. It's over. So I guess you can say bye to all of these, gym girl update number whatever video. That's done because there's not going to be anything else to update. Yeah, there might be one more video where I confirm that, she's done with me. I'm so afraid to just turn my phone on and look at it. I mean, I know what I'm going to see. I'm just going to see either she'll just have gotten the picture and, just stop texting me, or what I really expect, because this is kind of how her personality seems to be. I'm going to have some text messages telling me off for just ignoring her like that, just suddenly stop talking to her. She'll probably have blocked my number. And then if it was possible to repair the relationship, it feels weird even calling it a relationship because it wasn't even really at that point. And that's kind of the thing, if we had an actual relationship, then maybe I could get away with something like this because we would have already built up some lasting memories or whatever, but it's not even like that. We've never even met in person other than, before we even started talking. We met in person at the boxing gym, technically. So I've just dropped off the face of the map, stopped talking to her, stopped texting her, stopped responding to her texts. From her perspective, I'm completely ignoring her. From her perspective, I must hate her or something. It's over. And I wanted this so bad. I know a lot of you guys that listen to my videos, I know that you can relate to me and how my life is in a lot of ways. You can relate to being a total loser, inkwell like myself, but what you probably can't relate to, what none of you could possibly know, is how badly I wanted it to work out with this girl. She is literally my dream girl. And I don't think that's just me building it up in my head either. Like, this specific girl is literally my dream girl. And it just seems like I have a chance with her. I don't know why. It was like a miracle. I was presented with the miraculous opportunity. For once, God chose me to give me a blessing. And I didn't deserve it. But it turns out now it's all starting to make sense cosmically, on a cosmic level. Because actually it wasn't a blessing. It was the greatest curse, disguised as a blessing for but a brief moment in time. And now the truth comes out. It was a curse. I was destined, like the tragic hero of one of Shakespeare's comedies, I was destined to screw it up by my own hands. to take this miraculous opportunity and throw it in the garbage all on my own. It was destined from the start. I should have known this would happen because I can't overcome my stupid addiction. An addiction that most of society don't even take seriously. And maybe they're right. Maybe it's not even that addictive and I'm addicted to it because I'm retarded or something. I don't know if there's, because I think, is there something I could do? Is there maybe something I could do to repair this? I really don't know. I don't know what I'm going to see when I finally do turn on my phone. I don't know. I might just throw my fucking phone in the garbage. No more phone for me. I cannot bring myself to turn this thing on and see whatever text message she sent me. There's no coming back from this. I mean, how could she? Because the thing is, look, I think if the roles were reversed and she suddenly started ignoring me, I mean, obviously that wouldn't ruin things between us because I'm desperate. But she's not desperate. She's a beautiful angel delivered straight from heaven to earth. Every man in the world she comes across wants her. She's not desperate like I am. Me ignoring her like this, she's going to take that like a slap in the face, like I'm spitting right in her face. She's not going to like it, and it's over. If I do get another text from her, I don't think it's going to be friendly. I think we're probably past friendly at this point. I've been ignoring her for like 2 days after we were texting nonstop, day in, day out, for like 3 days. It's over. It's over. There's no repairing this. There's nothing I can do. And I always do this. I knew I would do this. I knew it would come to this. Because it's what always happens. I should have known this by now. I don't get to have positive moments in my life. I do, only briefly. And the only reason I get to have positive moments is so I can raise my level of happiness, so I can raise it to a high enough level that when it comes down, it comes crashing down. And that's the only reason. That's the only reason any of this is allowed to happen in my life. So yeah, I don't know. I finished all the weed now, so I'm still kind of stoned right now, but coming down. By tomorrow, I'll be, more in my regular sober state of mind, and I'll be able to think about this a little more. I don't know if I'll be able to manage to gather up the courage to turn my phone on and look at my text messages, but, it's so fucking over. All right, so I finally gathered up the courage to turn my phone on. Because yeah, if you didn't see my last video, I had kind of gone on a bit of a binge with my addiction. And basically I turned my phone off, shut myself off from the world, and I've kind of just been ignoring Gym Girl because we had been texting pretty much day in and day out for a few days. So I know she was probably going to be pretty upset that I had been ignoring her, but there's, what can I say? I'm screwed up mentally, but it is what it is. And yeah, thankfully it seems to all be working out now. So yeah, so I finally turned my phone back on, and Gym Girl had texted me a few times, but none of her texts really seemed like she was that upset. She was just texting stuff like, hey, or whatever, like the kind of thing someone would text to start up a conversation. And that actually, when I first saw that, it actually hurt a little more, that actually hurt a little more than if she had actually told me off or, actually expressed that she was upset. Because this way, it kind of seemed like she didn't really care, It kind of seemed like she didn't really care that much that I was ignoring her. And, that's not a great feeling because what is it they say that, hate is a closer emotion to love than indifference or something like that. And this kind of just made it seem like she's kind of indifferent to talking to me. So, yeah. And I did have some texts from her, but she only texted me up till I had been ignoring her for about 24 hours. But I ignored her for like 3 or 4 days or something like that. So she only tried to reach out for one day. So yeah, the whole thing, it seemed like she was kind of indifferent about it. So I was kind of feeling down about that too, but I don't know what it was. But yeah, obviously I was feeling really down about, after my whole binge and just shutting myself off from the world and just feeling really low and disappointed in myself and just, feeling bad about the whole situation with Gym Girl. And, I just felt like I really blew this great opportunity that I was presented with. And after a day of being sobered up, I kind of I woke up the next day after that and I was feeling really motivated, actually. I got all hyped up on caffeine. I went for a bike ride, which is something I hadn't done in a long time. I used to go on bike rides every now and then. It was a regular thing for me at some point in time. This was like years ago, but yeah, I went for a bike ride, and I actually did a pretty long ride too, or, for me, it was pretty long. I was riding for probably 30, 45 minutes. I don't know how much distance I covered, but anyways, I think it was like all the endorphins from the bike ride and the caffeine. It just had me, just had me feeling really psyched up, really motivated. I felt like I had to make up for lost time or something, because it's probably delusional. I realize that. It's probably delusional, but I don't even care. The thing about this girl, I like her a lot. I really care about this girl. I've never had one-itis this bad. Like any guy, I've had one-itis before, but not like this. And when I think about it, this is probably the only chance I will ever have to get with any girl. And the fact that she's not even just any girl, she's actually objectively attractive. And even before talking to her, if I was going to describe my ideal wife, it would pretty much just be describing her. Seriously. No exaggeration. This whole situation has to be some kind of miracle or something. And I don't believe in anything supernatural. I don't believe in karma or any of that stuff. So no, it's not actually a miracle, but whatever this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It really is. Like, this isn't going to happen again. I'm only getting older and my looks are getting worse and worse. My social skills are getting worse and worse as time goes on. This is my shot. This is my only chance at finding any kind of romance in this world. So yeah, I really got myself all psyched up and just really motivated. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to do the damn thing. I'm going to ask this girl out. I'm going to do it. And it's funny because I had been stressing about what I would even ask her to do. Like, should I ask her out for coffee or drinks or go for a walk in the park? But when I actually texted her, I didn't even specify anything like that. I just texted her something like, actually, I'll just pull up the message. I'll just read the exact message. So I said, hey, Gym Girl, sorry I went radio silent for the past few days. I've been busy with some personal stuff. Anyway, we've been texting for a while now, and I do really enjoy talking to you. I'd love to meet up in person soon. Would that be all right with you? I know that's kind of cringy, but whatever, it worked. So she responded to that. It actually took her a while to respond, like almost an hour. So I was kind of freaking out waiting for her to respond. But anyway, she did eventually respond, and she said, she sent two texts actually. She sent, I was wondering when you were going to ask me out. And then she sent, yes, I want to meet in person, LOL. And she said yes in all caps. So, I mean, when I saw that, can you imagine just the relief, the happiness, the elation, the joy that I felt? And I mean, I'm still feeling it. I'm basking in the joy right now. I mean, I feel like there's already been a lot of ups and downs in my relationship with Gym Girl, even though, again, I understand it's not like an actual relationship, but, from my perspective, how things have been going, and this is just, it's kind of sad because for me, this is my longest relationship yet, but for her, it's not even a relationship, but, whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically, yeah, I'm really happy. So yeah, she said, she does want to meet in person. And so I was trying to think of how to respond to that because I figured at that point, I actually need to come up with an activity now, something we're going to do, someplace we're actually going to meet up at. So I was trying to think of what to text her, but while I was thinking, she texted me again, and
Basically, she mentioned a ramen place she likes, and she asked if I wanted to meet there. So yeah, that's fine with me. I like ramen and whatever. Even if she mentioned some kind of food I hate, I would still, that takes the pressure off me trying to think of something. So that's perfect. So yeah, we texted back and forth a bit more about just the logistics and everything. So we set a date for a couple days from now at the ramen place. And I think I'm going to go try to buy some new clothes tomorrow because I don't really have anything nice to wear, but I don't know because I'd probably have to borrow some money from my mom or dad, and I don't really want to tell them I have a date, but I would have to give them a reason for why I need money to buy new clothes. And like they'll definitely do it. They'll be super happy for me that I have a date. But the thing is, they'll make a big deal about it and everything. I don't know. I just don't want to have to tell them about all of this because who knows how it's actually going to go once we meet in person. It might be a disaster. In fact, I think that would be a very likely outcome. It probably will be a disaster. But for now, I am optimistic for now because, things have been going great. This girl, she's not a random girl from Tinder or something. She has actually seen me in person. I definitely want to make a good first impression, although, yeah, whatever, it's not technically a first impression, but it'll be the first time we've seen each other after having been texting for a while. So, yeah, I want to wear something nice, I want to try and get some cool clothes and look my best. So, that's where we're at now. I mean, really, this whole thing has been such a roller coaster because I thought it was, I don't know why. Maybe it was stupid of me to think that it was so over after, I shut myself off and just ignored her for a few days, but I really thought that was going to be it. I did not think she would want to talk to me after that, but oh yeah, I forgot to mention one thing she said after, she actually said, because I came up with the excuse that, I just told her while I was busy with personal stuff. She just said, yeah, she said something about how she figured I was just busy with the holidays because I didn't even realize that. But yeah, it was the past couple days was, the 4th of July and surrounding days. So yeah, I didn't even think about that because, it was during the time I was ignoring her was over 4th of July. So it's, I guess, not that weird that I ignored her because, yeah, she probably assumes I am more or less a normal person. So she would think maybe I'm busy on that day. So I don't know why I didn't even think of that. But yeah, so it turns out it's all good. It's not just good, it's great. It's better than I've been in a long time. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because this could all come crashing down like things tend to do, the way things tend to go in my life. But for now, right now at least, I'm just going to enjoy the moment. Things are going great. All right, I'm really excited. I'm really nervous, obviously, because I've been able to kind of open up and, talk with this girl through text messaging. But text messaging is one thing. But actually being a cool guy in person and being social in person, that's a whole other thing. So I am really worried about that. I'm really worried that I'm not going to be able to perform, to a standard that, basically I'm afraid she won't like me once she meets me in person. Because I think I've been able to act, I can present as if I am a cool guy through text messages, but once we're in person, that's the real me. She's just gonna be there in person with the real me. And man, yeah, I'm I'm worried to say the least, but optimistic. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I should have known. I should have known that I don't get to have anything good in my life. I should have known. I mean, I already knew, but again, I let myself get deluded into thinking maybe something good is happening. I should have fucking known. All of this is too good to be true. So, I think I mentioned in my last video that I was gonna try and go buy some new clothes for my date with Gym Girl. So yeah, I went out, and while I was out, oh yeah, and of course this means I had to ask my mom for money to buy clothes, so I had to explain to her, I've got a date with this girl coming up, and
she obviously, made a huge deal about it. And she told my dad, which I was hoping I could keep it maybe isolated to just one parent knowing about this, because my parents are divorced. They don't live together. But yeah, she told my dad. So yeah, both my parents know about her. I told them about Gym Girl, and which just makes this whole thing worse now, considering what's happened now. But yeah, I was out shopping for clothes. While I'm at the store, Gym Girl is texting me. She asked me to do a FaceTime with her. And I've never done a video call before, so I don't even really know how to do it with my phone. So I told her that, and I was asking, what do you want to do a FaceTime for? But she was really insistent, and she basically said that her and her friends have a rule that they won't meet up with a guy in person until they've at least FaceTimed first. And she even said something like, well, I know we've technically met in person already, but just humor me. So I don't know. It seemed really weird to me. And just right off the bat, I got a bad feeling about it. But her explanation made enough sense, I guess. I mean, I figured her friends are kind of giving her shit about it. So whatever. Anyways, I agreed to do a video call with her. And I guess because she has an iPhone and I have Android, there's something weird about how FaceTime works, where it's like she sends me a link and I have to click on it. I don't know. We tried that and I couldn't get it to work. So I don't know what the deal is. But anyways, we ended up doing the call through WhatsApp instead. But I guess that's not really important, but whatever. So she calls me. And by the way, this is after I got back from the store. So I'm back at home at this point. So she calls me and I answered it. Fuck, it's so brutal. It's so brutal. She calls me, I answer it. So I see her, she's smiling. I see her smiling face. And she says, hey. And literally the way she said hey, it was probably the most adorable thing I've ever heard someone say in my entire life. Like, she was smiling and everything. She looked so cute. Whatever. So she said, hey. I said, hey, what's up? And then she asked me to tilt my phone up because I guess I wasn't actually pointing the camera at my face, so she couldn't see me. So I did. I adjusted my phone, so I made sure the camera was actually pointing at my face. And then it was like, as soon as my face came into frame, right, because I'm kind of looking at the little box on the screen that shows my camera. So as soon as my face comes into frame, I see her, and her expression changed. Like she had a look on her face like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. She just had a weird look on her face. She went from smiling to just, I don't know, a weird expression. I don't know how to explain it. And then she hung up. She just hung up. And, at first I assumed, the connection was just lost or something. This is a weird video call thing we're doing. The connection was lost. That probably happens all the time. But no, she definitely hung up on me because I tried to call her back immediately afterward and she didn't answer. And I also texted her to, I asked, is everything okay? And she hasn't responded. And that's been at least 3 hours ago now. So I'm pretty sure it's over. It's over at this point. I don't know what, I don't even, because did she just not remember how ugly I am or something? Remember, she saw me in person at boxing class. So, I don't know. She should have known that I'm ugly. She knows how old I am. She knows the age difference between us. I'm about 10 years older than she is. She knows I'm ugly. She knows I'm bald. She knew all of that stuff. It wasn't a secret. This should not have been the first time she saw me. So I don't even... I mean, it's like as soon as I pointed the camera at my sub-5, subhuman, bald cell face, she just got a look of disgust, or I don't even know what. She just got this expression on her face and just hung up immediately. She saw me, she said, oh, hell no, I'm not talking to that. Oh, hell no, I'm not meeting up in person with that thing. Like, I'm not even a person. That's how it feels. It feels like I'm being treated like I'm not even human. And there's nothing new there. There's nothing new there at all. That's how the women always treat me. But this girl I thought was going to be different because it has been different through how we've been texting. So I don't know What's the deal? What is going on here? And yeah, again, to make matters worse, I told my parents about her. So now I'm going to have to, my parents were super excited. I wouldn't be surprised if my mom also, called other family members to tell them about it. So now I'm going to have to, the time when the date was supposed to be is coming up tomorrow, or maybe that's today, depending on when I upload this video. But anyways, the actual time when the date is supposed to be is coming up, and I'm going to have to explain to my parents why I'm not going, because she saw me on the video call and just hung up in my face because of my face. This shit's not fair, man. It's really not. And it's just so confusing because I'm baffled. I just don't understand, because she saw me already. She's supposed to already know what I look like. So why is seeing me now such a thing? The only thing I can think is maybe she was confused and had me mixed up with someone else. Because I think I mentioned before, I'm pretty sure she wasn't there on the day at the boxing gym when the fight happened. Or I don't know to call it a fight, but I got knocked out by the guy. I don't know if she was actually there that day or if somebody told her about it, because I think she wasn't there. I don't remember her being there that day. So I think she just, her friend told her about it. And then maybe from that, she had thought I was someone else at the gym, But even that doesn't really make sense, because there's not really any other guys at that gym that match my same description. And then, yeah, it just doesn't really make sense, because if she had just had me mixed up with another guy from the gym, then, she's still been going to the gym. I'm banned from the gym, but she's still been going. And I told her that I'm banned from the gym, so she knows that. So the only way it could have possibly happened where there was a mix-up is that she had me mixed up with some other guy based on the description from her friend, and then that other guy also has completely stopped going to the gym. Because otherwise she would have seen this other guy at the gym who she thinks is me, and yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to say. It's kind of complicated, but it doesn't really make sense that she would have me mixed up with someone else. So I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. And it's like, if you think about it logically, it's just kind of like I'm back at square one now, I've had this brief, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's basically a relationship, but whatever you want to call it, I've had this brief thing where I've been texting this girl, my dream girl, basically, and it's been going great. The highlight of my day is every text I receive from her. That is the absolute highlight of my life, right? Well, not now, but then. But yeah, so it's like now I'm just kind of back to my baseline, right? It's kind of like that never happened. It's kind of like this whole relationship or whatever you want to call it with this girl. It's like it just never happened. So I shouldn't be more upset than I would be if this all didn't come crashing down. But there's something about how this all happened. And then it's so fucking cruel. Even if, so let's say, she sees my face and I don't know, she forgot how ugly I am. And so then she sees my face here in the FaceTime. And let's say she immediately realizes, oh, he's way too ugly. I do not want to meet this guy in person. But why would she just hang up like that? I don't think I would treat someone like that, no matter what they look like. I really don't. And why would she just ignore when I texted her, what's going on? Or that's not what I said. I texted, is there something wrong? Or what's the matter? Something like that. I don't remember. But why would she just ignore that? Like, tell me what the deal is. If I'm ugly, tell me I'm ugly, If there was some kind of confusion, you thought I was someone else, then tell me that. Just tell me the truth. Just don't just go silent like that.
And I mean, maybe that's karma because I went silent on her for a few days, but she didn't seem to care. So I don't think this is some kind of weird retribution on her end. Because also, I just don't think she's that type of person from talking to her. Because, you know, you can say it's BS, you can say this is ridiculous, whatever you want, but I know I've only been texting with this girl for, not that long, but yeah, I've gotten to know her, you know? I actually know her a little bit, and she's not that kind of person that would do something like that. I don't think. She's not the type of person that would go for revenge. So I don't understand. I'm so confused about why it went down like this. What's going through her head when she just hangs up the phone on me like that? I know it's because I'm ugly. I know it's because she saw me and I'm ugly. I know that. But again, she knew that. She already knew what I looked like. So what is going on? This is just the type of I really don't know. I really don't know what all this is. So I guess I'll give another update if she ever does respond to my text message. If I ever do figure out what the hell is going on here, sure, I'll give another update. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. I really don't know.
I don't even want a girlfriend anymore. I really don't. I don't care about having a girlfriend anymore. And I know a lot of you are going to think, oh, this is all a bunch of cope. This is just how he's coping with the gym girl situation. But whatever. Maybe it is a little bit of that, but I mean, I've thought about it, and ultimately, no, I do not want a girlfriend anymore. And it's one of those things where I feel like it's been my goal for pretty much my entire life, or at least since I started puberty, to get a girlfriend, to eventually get a wife and have kids and all that, but how much of that goal was really motivated within myself, versus how much of that was nurtured within me from society's influence? I would bet on it being the latter, that it's mostly society's influence that has made me want a girlfriend. But I do have a few main reasons why I don't want a girlfriend. The first reason is novelty. So essentially, the only reason, and I think this goes for a lot of guys, whether they're willing to admit it or not, the only reason you really want a girlfriend is for the novelty of it. Because you always see, when people actually do get married or they're in long-term relationships for years on end, what you see happen is they end up in a dead bedroom situation where their wife or girlfriend doesn't want to have sex anymore. They just start to grow apart. The romance is gone. The spark is gone. They lose interest in each other. And what's happening is the novelty of the relationship is wearing off. It's just like with any new thing you're excited about, right? A new video game comes out that you're really hyped about. You get that game, then you play that game, and you might have a really good time playing that game, and you might put 100, 200, you might put 1,000 hours into that game. And, eventually the novelty is going to wear off, and then suddenly it's just not fun anymore. You might keep playing the game for hours and hours, even after the novelty is worn off, but you're not even enjoying it anymore. You're in that zone. And I know a lot of you guys that watch my videos, I know y'all are gamers. So I know you've been there before where you're playing a game you really loved, but the novelty wears off, but you just keep playing it out of habit. And I feel like that's how it would be if I had a girlfriend. Eventually, the novelty is going to wear off, but I'll probably stay in the relationship just out of habit or fear of, disappointing her or upsetting her or something. And not only that, upsetting my whole family that would probably be super excited for me to finally have a relationship and be a normal person like everyone else. But yeah, the novelty wears off. And back to the video game example, you may even, after the novelty wears off, give it a year or two, you may even get a sudden spark of excitement again to go back and play that game some more. And it might have some of the novelty back, the next time you play it, but you probably won't be into it for as long as you were the first time. The novelty will wear off quicker, and eventually over time, the novelty is always going to wear off. And what that means is it's not fun anymore. It's not enjoyable anymore. So when the novelty wears off when you're in a relationship, well, it's a big deal because being in a relationship, having a girlfriend is a big investment, you know? You're investing not only your time, but your resources. Because, you know, with a video game, at least, all you've invested in resources is maybe $60. At worst, you had to, you know, upgrade your PC. So maybe you spent a couple $1,000s in worst case scenario as an investment in that novelty. But with a girlfriend, you're spending thousands of dollars. You're spending all your time. And also, your entire social circle and family is now invested in it as well. So you've got everyone else invested in it. And so once that novelty wears off and it becomes a bad situation, it's no longer enjoyable, then it's basically like, you know, emotionally, I'd be right back to square one, except actually another step back. Because I'd be back to my same level of happiness and life satisfaction I'm at right now as a single guy. I'd be back to that, except I'd be in a relationship. So I'd still have, it's almost like I would have this burden to deal with, you know? And I think that's what it really would become if I had a girlfriend. And it doesn't matter who she, you know, even if it was Gym Girl, who's basically, you know, my perfect dream girl, it wouldn't matter. The novelty would wear off eventually, no matter how long it takes. Even if it took 5 years, which it probably would happen sooner than that, the novelty would wear off. And some of you could make the argument, so how does this novelty theory make sense when you consider all the dudes that have had one-itis for years, you know? There's a bunch of guys out there, they're still obsessed with the same girl for years and years, sometimes a decade or more. How does that make sense if the novelty is going to wear off? And what I say to that is, well, because they aren't actually with her. You know, when you have one-itis, the novelty never goes away because you never actually experience the relationship. So the novelty can't, the thing is, when you have a one-itis, it's almost like you're having a relationship with the girl in your head, you know, you fantasize about her, you daydream about scenarios involving your one-itis, and you might do that for years on end. Now, the novelty's not going to wear off because, think about it, when you have a one-itis like that, you're not actually fantasizing about the same exact scenarios involving her. You keep it fresh in your mind. You know, you frequently update your fantasies and your imagination scenarios to keep that novelty there in your vision of your one-itis. And the thing is, that just won't translate to the real world. You know, if you actually got with your one-itis, it wouldn't be like that. You know, you can't just think of a different scenario. You have to like put a lot of effort and work into creating a new scenario, and you can't create it because the scenarios you imagine with your one-itis, you're imagining what she's doing, how she's acting in a given scenario or fantasy. And, you know, you can't control another person like that. Not really. You can manipulate, suggest in some way, but you can't actually control another person's actions like that. So, yeah. And think about it like this, you know, I made the video game example, but just think about it like this, because I know some of you are thinking, well, if you have a girlfriend, at least you have sex, you know, that like you're not getting sex without a girlfriend, but you know, the novelty will wear off there too. I mean, when you watch Prawn, do you watch the same video every time? Or do you even watch the same actress every time? Because I know I don't. I might watch some videos more than once or even like come back to a video for a repeat viewing months later, but I am constantly seeking out new content I haven't seen before. And I know it's the same for all of you, you know, just admit it. You can't lie about that. And I understand theoretically you could keep novelty going in your relationship, but even if it's the real thing, you know, you're really having sexual relations with a girl, the novelty of that too will wear off. The novelty of anything will wear off, no matter how great, how pleasurable it is. The novelty is going to wear off. So it's kind of like, what's the point, you know? Because to get to that point, for a guy like me, a sub-5 like me, to get to the point of actually being in the relationship, it is so much effort. And then for that novelty to just wear off, probably sooner than I even realize it would, you know, I'm like Sisyphus trying to roll a boulder up a hill, and then the boulder just rolls back over me and flattens me out, you know? It's kind of that type, it's kind of a Sisyphus type situation. And I understand you could theoretically keep novelty in your relationship if you like put in a super large amount of work. You just put in a lot of effort to keep things new, to make it happen. And realistically, both you and your girlfriend would have to put in the work. But we all know that women learn through all their life experiences throughout their entire life that it's not their job to put in effort toward their relationship. That's a man's job. So realistically, you as the man would have to be putting in all of that work to keep things novel. So you're not going to be getting any help. In fact, she will be fighting against it because for her, it's easier to find novelty in a relationship by leaving you and finding another guy. And she won't have to search. Guys are constantly bombarding her, no matter who she is, even if she's a sub 5 looks match to your sub 5 ass. Guys will still be bombarding her with proposals for a new novel relationship. So you have that to contend with as well. And which brings me to my next point. It's just too much work. Like, I can't even bring myself to put in the work to find a job, like even a basic minimum wage job. Which, I mean, if you keep up with my channel, I've kind of explained how finding any job is pretty much hopeless at this point. Not just for me, but for a whole lot of guys. But yeah, people talk about some women being high maintenance as if... And this is the crazy thing to me, right? Because people talk about some women being high maintenance as if to imply that low maintenance women exist. And I'm just not buying it. Like, okay, take a gym girl, for example. I know she wasn't actually my girlfriend or anything, and we were just texting. But even that was a ton of work for me. Like, it was so much work. Like, the amount of mental effort I had to put in just to come up with interesting topics of discussion to keep her entertained. Because I know if I let things get boring, she's just going to move on to the next guy to find some excitement, because that's all girls want. They want to have fun. Like, literally, girls just want to have fun. They don't want to actually work toward building something and getting a sense of achievement and satisfaction. That's a very masculine trait. They don't want that. They just want to have fun. They want to be entertained. They want a man to entertain them. They want you to entertain them. Seriously, though, I actually hope I get another text fling going, or whatever you want to call it, like what I had going with Gym Girl, because I hope I get into a situation like that when I'm elderly, because that kind of mental effort is probably as good as doing Sudokus or crosswords or whatever as far as preventing Alzheimer's goes. No lie, I bet my basal metabolic rate doubled in that time just from all the calories I was burning, just firing off neurons and forming new neural pathways, just trying to come up with topics of discussion to text with this girl. Seriously, it's a lot of work. And this was just me texting with a girl, which is like not even really halfway to having a girlfriend, It's not even being in an actual relationship. So you can imagine how much more effort would be required to keep things going in a real relationship. Like, I don't even want to imagine it. It's too much. And it's absolutely not worth it. Absolutely not worth it to put in that much effort, and then the novelty just wears off. Okay, and here's the other thing. Here's the other reason that I don't want a girlfriend, and this is kind of a reason why, look, I don't think I need a girlfriend. Because a lot of people talk about, you need somebody in your life to be happy. You need that human connection. You know what? I think I don't need the human connection. I went for years and years and years, decades, 35 years old. I went all that time with basically no human connection. And look, obviously, my life isn't great. It's not a good life. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy, but I can still enjoy listening to a song I like or enjoy playing a video game or something. So I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even say that I'm depressed, but maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I am depressed. I really don't know. But point being, I don't know that having a, human connection or more socializing, like even on the level of just having friends, I don't know if that would actually improve my life. And I went so long without the socializing and human connection that I can live without it. I just don't think I need it. So I just don't think I need a girlfriend. And in fact, with this recent thing I had going with Gym Girl, that kind of gave me a taste of what that kind of human connection would be like. And man, just having a taste of it like that and then having it ripped away, that's worse than if that just never happened. Because if that never happened, I was still slowly, building my tolerance, building up and building up my tolerance for solitude. Then suddenly Gym Girl comes into my life and kind of, sends shockwaves through all that tolerance. And now it's just kind of put a major damper in all the experience I've had throughout all the years of solitude. And now it's kind of like reset my brain a little bit into that mode of, being alone and not getting text messages constantly is actually depressing and bad, where before I was numb to it. I was fine with it. And now I'm having to build that tolerance back up. So I think just going, full on with no human connection, not having a girlfriend, not even socializing, not having friends, not having, talking to people at all, no human connection, I think that's actually the way for me. I think that's actually better. So that's actually better than, every now and then interrupting all the resistance to solitude that I've built up over time. So yeah, I just don't think I need the human connection, and I kind of just don't want it. I just don't think it's good for me overall. I think it's better if I don't have a girlfriend. And yeah, that is why I don't want a girlfriend. The novelty will wear off. It's too much effort, too much work to even get a girlfriend and then keep her entertained. And I just don't think I need it from a socialization aspect, socializing aspect, the human connection. I don't need that. That's not going to improve my life. It's not worth it. Having a girlfriend isn't worth it. And let me know in the comments if you think this is all a bunch of cope, because I'm pretty sure I'm not just coping here. Like this is real. This is some real stuff I'm talking about here. I don't identify as MGTOW, men going their own way or anything like that, because yeah, I don't know. I think all that's kind of cringe, but for me personally in my life, at the point I am in my life, 35 years old, I have plenty of life experience to know I just don't want a girlfriend anymore. That's it. I just don't. I just got in a huge fight with my dad. My dad mostly kind of stays off my back these days. He's, grown accustomed to the way that I am, that I'm just a loser and I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life probably. And I think he's just gotten used to it. So, we just haven't really had a big fight in a while. And then it happened. So what happened was, with the whole Gym Girl situation, and if you're new to the channel, I'll just explain briefly. There was this girl that I was texting with, and we had arranged to finally meet up in person and go on a date. And then we did a FaceTime, we did a video call, and she saw me, she hung up on me. So, I haven't heard from her since. The date was canceled, obviously. Well, to go on the date, my mom and dad both knew about the date, and I was supposed to borrow my dad's truck, right? My dad was going to let me borrow his truck to go on the date. And when the time came for the date, I just didn't have the heart to tell my dad the truth, to tell him what happened. So I just took his truck out and I just drove around. I put on my new clothes that I bought to go on the date, or that my mom bought for me to go on the date, got in the truck, I borrowed my dad's truck, and I just drove around. And the next day, I pretty much, after that, I was just kind of avoiding my dad. My mom was texting me, asking me how the date went. I just ignored her, didn't answer her, didn't respond. And, I live with my dad, so I had to, physically avoid him. When I could hear him milling about the house, I just stayed in my room, didn't go out to the kitchen to get a cup of water or anything, because I just didn't want to face reality. I just didn't want to have to tell him how I got rejected. How I had this one good thing, this one, potential for something good going in my life. And I just got brutally rejected again, like a loser. And I didn't want to have to see the disappointment on his face when I told my dad about that. And I figured, he's probably going to be mad that I still took his truck out and pretended to go on the date when I didn't. And I was right about that. So yeah, I finally told my dad that, I actually got rejected. I just told him the whole truth, everything that happened. She wanted a video call. she saw my face and she hung up, and I don't really know what the deal is, if she thought I was ugly or something. But yeah, so I didn't go on the date. And then he immediately, he doesn't even care about how I feel about the whole situation, how depressed that makes me to get rejected like that. He's just immediately like, okay, so you're telling me you took my truck out, wasted my gas just to drive around, and you didn't even go on a date. He's just worried about, not worried, he's pissed. He's pissed that I took the truck out and I wasted gas, because I get it. It's expensive. Gas is kind of expensive. And, his truck, he's got an older truck, pickup truck. It doesn't get good miles per gallon, it doesn't get good mileage. So I understand. He's right. He's right to be mad at me. I deserve it. So my dad's yelling at me about that, but I'm not really saying much because I know that I'm wrong, and he's just going on a tirade about how pissed he is that I wasted all that gas. It is what it is. He kind of calmed down a little bit. I just walked off because I was done hearing it. I just got brutally rejected. I don't need my parents mad at me now too. Right? It's not making things better for me. It's making things a lot worse actually. So I just walked off, went to my room, closed the door. Stayed in there for a few hours. Well, a little bit after that, my dad knocks on the door, tells me supper's ready. He cooked something for dinner, so I get out to go get supper. As soon as I get in the kitchen, I start to fix myself a plate, figure out, well, supper was really done, but my dad was also kind of using this to lure me out so he could berate me again. So, now he starts getting on to me about chores and stuff. He starts going off about, not only do you waste my gas money and take my truck out, driving around, there's a pile of laundry this high in the laundry room that you still haven't taken care of, that you said you would take care of, yada, yada, yada. And the thing is, he was mad about the laundry that I was supposed to do, that I agreed to do. Here's the thing. I did the laundry. I did do it. I already washed the clothes. And I dried them, and I hung them all up and folded it and everything, So he's just yelling at me about this. There's a stack of dirty clothes this high in there. I tell him, I already did it. I already washed the clothes. And, he just keeps on. He's like hell you did. Like hell you did. I know you didn't wash those damn clothes yet. I don't know. And he gets like this sometimes where he just, I think he had been drinking. And my dad's never like abusive or anything, but he does get like extra angry when he's been drinking. And, I can't really blame him about getting mad at me. I guess I kind of deserve it. But yeah, so he's getting on to me about the laundry that I already did. He's like, he doesn't believe that I did it. And then eventually, we're arguing about it. It's stupid. And I say, well, just go look. Go into the laundry room and look at it. I did it already. I think at that point he started to realize, yeah, I did actually do the laundry. So he's like, okay, maybe you did, but forget it. And then he goes back to talking about how I took the truck and wasted all that gas money. Then he starts talking about how he's getting on to me about how I made my mom buy me new clothes and then I didn't even go on a date. So then he starts to, it seems like he put forth this little theory he has that there never was a date to begin with. So he starts saying to me, I bet you never had a date. I bet you weren't even talking to a girl. And I understand why he might think that, but I am kind of offended by this because it's like he's trying to say that I was just lying about this date to both of my parents so that I could get some new clothes and I guess get to borrow his truck and go out somewhere. Which I don't know what he thinks I was doing with that. But I literally just took his truck and just drove around in depression and listened to music and just drove around for I don't even know how long, like an hour or something, and I came back. But yeah, so my dad starts arguing with me. I don't know if he really believes that Gym Girl was totally made up so that I could, I guess, get my parents to buy me new clothes. As if I cared about having new clothes. I don't know. So anyways, my dad is absolutely pissed. Then he starts talking about, you need to get a job. You need to actually get a job. And Man, it has been a long time. You know, my dad used to get on me a lot. When I moved back in with him a few years ago, he used to get on to me a lot about finding a job, but he had kind of stopped doing that. But then with this fight with my dad now, he just really started going off, bringing up all the classics, you know, talking about the chores, talking about you need to find a job. You've just been sitting around here on your ass all day, not doing nothing. It's time you really find a job. This is what really actually frustrates me. He starts going on about, he's like, you have a master's degree. It should be easy for you to get a job. Just apply to jobs and they'll give you a job. You have a master's degree. As if that, you know, because in his mind, he's still got that old school mindset. He didn't even go to college, by the way, because he didn't have to. When he graduated high school, he could easily just walk into any place with a firm handshake and some confidence and land any job he wanted, because that's how it was back then. It's not how it is now. It's not how it is now at all. And my parents just really don't understand how it is now, because, you know, my dad's retired. My mom doesn't understand it either, although she does still work. But God, it's so brutal. So yeah, my dad starts getting on to me. He starts pressing me, you know, he threatened to kick me out of the house if I don't get a job. He's like, you better get out. He's telling me that tomorrow I have to get a job. He's telling me that I have to go out, like physically go out of the house and look for jobs. So that's another thing. I even agreed with him, like, okay, I'll look for jobs, you know. I tell him I'll get online tomorrow, get on Indeed, and I'll apply to every job posting for a programmer that I can find. And he was like, no, you need to get any job. You can borrow my truck tomorrow. In fact, he said it like this. He was like, you can borrow my truck tomorrow. In fact, you're gonna borrow my truck tomorrow. You're gonna get your ass out there and you're gonna drive around and you're gonna walk into every business you see along the road and you are going to apply for a job. So I guess he wants me to apply for jobs at McDonald's and Burger King, at gas stations, everywhere, you know? He just wants me to get any job, a minimum wage job, anything. And I tried telling him, you know, you don't, even for those jobs, you apply online. And I started, you know, tell him, okay, I'll apply for jobs. I'll apply for McDonald's if that's what you want me to do. I'll apply for a job at Taco Bell, but you do it online. You don't, he just kept cutting me off like, no, you're going to get your ass in that car tomorrow and you're going to go in person and ask for a job. So I tried telling him, you know, you don't just walk into Taco Bell and ask for a job. You apply online. I know what's going to happen when I go in person. They're going to tell me we don't have paper applications. You got to fill it out online. But my dad just doesn't understand that. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, what's going to happen. But my dad told me that if I don't go out and look for jobs tomorrow, he's going to kick me out of the house. And I don't really understand this because my dad has told me several times in the past that no matter how bad the situation is, you know, I always have a roof over my head. I'll always have a place to sleep in his house. And I guess now, I don't know what changed, but now he's starting to say he's going to kick me out if I don't go out and get a job. If I don't go out and look for a job tomorrow, he's going to kick me out, is what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Honestly, I don't think he will kick me out, but that's what he's saying he'll do. I don't think he will. I hope not. I really don't know. So maybe tomorrow I'll borrow his truck and just drive around again like I did when I pretended to go on the date, because I'm not walking into McDonald's and asking for a job application, because that's not how it works. I will get online and apply for programming jobs. I'm not working at Wendy's, man. It's not even worth it to do it. I don't care. I'm not going to do that. I will appease my dad by applying to jobs and maybe pretending to drive around, but it's so stupid, you know? I'm not going to actually waste all my time and effort to walk into places and embarrass myself by asking for a job application in 2024. So they can just look at me like I'm an absolute moron that doesn't even know what year it is. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure my dad's not going to kick me out of the house, but yeah, that's what he's threatening. So there it is. Okay, so last couple of days have been absolutely miserable. God, where do I even begin? So, like I was saying, my dad had threatened to kick me out of the house if I don't go out physically and go into places and try to ask for a job. And he actually did it. He did kick me out of the house. And I'm staying at my mom's house now, so I'm fine. I'm not homeless. Fortunately, it's all, I'm not going to say it's okay because it's not really okay, but could be worse, I guess. So basically what happened was the next day after I had the big fight with my dad where he threatened to kick me out of the house if I don't go find a job, I was applying for jobs online because going out in person to apply for jobs physically in the store that you're applying for the job, is very stupid. It is an act in utter futility. So I was in my room on my computer and I was on Indeed.com looking for jobs. I was looking for programming jobs that require a computer science degree since I am qualified to have that kind of job. And if you're familiar with my channel at all, you know that I really don't think it's possible for me to even find a job at this point. Most of those job postings are fake, but even so, that's a more likely way to get a job than walking into Home Depot with a firm handshake and telling them, I'd like to carry lumber around for you, or whatever the hell people do at Home Depot. So, the next day after the big fight with my dad, I'm in my room, I'm applying for jobs. Dad starts banging on my door after he woke up. He wakes up a little later in the day. He starts banging on my door and he's just, what the hell are you still doing here? Because he saw his truck in the driveway. He's telling me I'm supposed to take his truck and go apply for jobs. He's banging on my door. What the hell are you still doing here? You're supposed to be out looking for a job. I told him, I'm applying for jobs right now online. And, he says, no, you've tried that and it doesn't work. Get your ass in the truck right now and go get a job anywhere. It doesn't matter. Just get any job. I don't care if it's McDonald's. I don't care if it's minimum wage. Just go get any job. And, he was saying stuff like that. And I just listened to him rant, just saying all this stupid stuff for a minute. And then I refused because I'm not going to get in a car and drive it to walk into different fast food restaurants and gas stations and stuff and just ask them for a job, because that's not how it works now. You have to fill out job applications on the internet, even for minimum wage jobs. And so I refused, and my dad he wouldn't drop it. And he said, okay, then get out. He told me to get out. He told me I have an hour to get out. I argued for a while and I was like, you're not serious, are you? And he was serious. He was kicking me out. He told me I have an hour to, get my stuff together, get what I need, find someone to pick me up if I can, or just walk out the house and leave, So of course I called my mom. I try to get her to come pick me up so I can take my things over to her house to stay. And, well, she refused. My mom refused to pick me up because I guess, and I didn't know this, but I thought it was weird that my dad all of a sudden, wants to kick me out when he had always been telling me, no matter how bad things get, you'll always have a roof over your head with me. That's what he always said to me. And all of a sudden he's, get out and find a job or you're out of my house. What happened? What was this sudden change? And it turned out it actually was my mom that convinced him. So I guess my mom got really frustrated after, I told my dad about how the gym girl situation and how I didn't actually go on the date and the date didn't happen. He told my mom about it. And, my mom had bought me some new clothes. It wasn't even this was all, she bought me pants and a shirt and some socks actually. And all in all, it was less than $100. It was one pair of pants, a shirt, and some socks. And I didn't even want the socks, she was just like, these are nice socks. She bought the socks, insisted that I take them. So
like I said, it was like 70, 80 bucks for the entire outfit. That's how much she spent on me. But whatever, she's pissed about it. And her and my dad, they're both convinced that I made the whole thing up, that Gym Girl doesn't exist, that I made it all up. I made this whole thing about the date. I made it all up. It was all a ruse so I could get them to buy me clothes. So I could get them to buy me one pair of pants and a shirt. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. But this is what they think, apparently. And apparently also that's worth just throwing me out on the streets. That's worth making me homeless over, I guess. So yeah, so it was actually my mom that had convinced my dad to kick me out of the house if I don't get a job. So when my dad did kick me out of the house, I called my mom to pick me up and she refuses. She won't come pick me up. So I didn't know what to do. I packed up a backpack. I just put my laptop, my phone, wallet, just a few essentials. I put like a change of clothes in the backpack and I got on my bike and I didn't know what to do. So I just rode my bike to my mom's house, which is not that close, by the way. And I actually have to cross some kind of dangerous roads that you should not really be riding a bike on to get there. But, whatever. So I got on my bike with my backpack, packed with just my bare essentials, and I rode to my mom's house, even though, she was refusing to pick me up. And I kind of assumed, I'll get there and I'll try and convince her to let me stay with her. And yeah, so I rode my bike to my mom's house, which I forgot to bring a bottle of water with me, by the way, on the ride to my mom's house. And it was hot. So yeah, that was bad. But anyways, that's not important. I rode over to my mom's house. I got to her house and thankfully, at first she was like, "You can't stay here. You're not coming in here." I finally convinced her to let me stay there. Unfortunately, she wouldn't let me stay in the house. So I guess she wanted to maintain, because she has a spare bedroom. There's an extra bed I could have slept on. I could have slept on the couch in the house. But she wanted to maintain some sense of, I don't know. She wanted to feel like she's winning the argument or something. I don't know. I don't care. She made me stay in the garage. There's like a couch. There's an old dirty couch in her garage. This is not a converted garage, by the way. Like it's just a regular garage. So that's where I slept that night. I guess this was like 2 nights ago. I slept on a couch in my mom's garage. And it was hot, by the way. There was a fan out there. So I had the fan blowing like, 1 foot away from my face, just blowing onto me. But still, I was just sweating all night. Obviously didn't get a good sleep. And this couch I slept on is not comfortable either. So it's dirty, it's uncomfortable. I woke up with my back just aching in ways I didn't even know was possible. So yeah, it was bad, but I mean, whatever. I guess, all of this said, I guess I really can't complain because this is my mom's house, right? I can't really complain, Sleeping on the couch in my mom's garage is still a lot better than sleeping on a sidewalk somewhere or sleeping out in the woods somewhere. So, whatever. Right, so the condition of me even getting to stay in the garage was my mom says, "Well, you have to go out tomorrow and find a job." She says, it's the same thing that my dad was saying. She tells me, you can borrow my car and you're going out tomorrow and you're going to walk into places and shake their hand and you're going to find a job. So as stupid as that is, I slept on the couch and you could barely even call it sleep because I didn't get that much sleep. But yeah, woke up the next day and I borrowed my mom's car and I went out and I went looking for jobs. Just driving down the road, I was walking into every place and trying to apply for every job. And yeah, pretty much every place, I walked into Lowe's, the home improvement store. They told me, they're like, they look confused at first when you walk in. They're like, well, you gotta fill out the application online. They won't give me a paper application. I tried Lowe's. Oh yeah, this is well, this is kind of funny, I guess. It'll be funny to you. It's brutal for me, but
Yeah, so I actually did. I tried to apply for a job at Taco Bell. I walked into Taco Bell. This is after I had, I applied at several fast food places, smaller restaurants. I walked into some like random places. Like there's just kind of a little place. I guess it's called a nursery, but it's not like a place where they take care of kids. It's like they sell like bird baths and plants and stuff. And I guess it's called a nursery, some kind of nursery. But yeah, they sell like rocks, like fancy stones, like stepping stones, stuff like that. I didn't walk in because they didn't even have like an indoors, or maybe there was, but there was a guy outside and I asked him, because this seemed like kind of a smaller mom and pop place that wouldn't even have a website. So I figured, hey, this might be a place that will, let me apply for a job in person. But yeah, he just said they don't need any help at the moment. So that was a bust. But yeah, so I actually ended up, one of the last places I went into Taco Bell. I asked for the application. They told me, you got to apply online. And I was really tired at that point. I don't know. I think I sighed after they said that. Like I do, just like that. So I think maybe I just looked like I was about to cry or something. I really don't know. I probably just looked depressed, or just maybe I looked homeless. Maybe they thought I was homeless. I don't know what it was, but the guy behind the counter at Taco Bell, after he told me, you got to fill out an application online, I was just kind of standing there for a second thinking of my next move. I was thinking like, maybe I'll just go home now. I was just standing there kind of trying to think like, okay, where am I going to go next? What am I going to do? Because I think I already basically went into everywhere and applied everywhere. It is, by the way, the most amount of people I've talked to in a single day in just maybe my entire life. I don't even know. It's ridiculous. Right. So yeah, the guy at Taco Bell, he offered to buy me food. He was like, I forget exactly what he said. He's something like, "Hey man, you look like you're having a rough time." He said something like, "Go ahead, take a load off. I'll buy you a burrito. Anything you want. What do you want? I'll buy you something to eat." And I was like, "No, no, no, it's fine." I did not accept food from this guy. I mean, what a nice guy. Because I probably wouldn't do that. And I did work fast food back, 10 years ago or so. I worked fast food for a while, for a few years. And I tell you, there was some pretty depressed looking, homeless looking folks that walked in there, and I never offered to buy anybody food. So this Taco Bell employee I encountered is a better man than I am. I can tell you that much. So yeah, that's how brutally my life is going, I guess. I've got the guy that works at Taco Bell offering to buy food for me. That's how pathetic I am. I got the cashier at Taco Bell offering to just buy me free food. He's offering to buy me lunch. So yeah, it's been a rough couple days. So I'm back at my mom's house now, I told her how it went. I got home and I told her, yeah, I went in and literally 0 places allowed me to fill out an application in person. I told her every single place they told me you got to fill out an application online, or they either told me you have to fill out an application online, or they told me they're not hiring. And that's exactly what happened. That's the truth. And I told my mom that, and this pissed me off so much. When I told my mom that about how it went, she said to me, she basically is yelling, and she goes, "Then you're going to sit your ass down and fill out applications online. You're going to sit your ass down and you're going to get online and find a job." Which is exactly what I wanted to do from the start. From the beginning, that's what I was doing. From the beginning, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, and I'm still at my mom's house. That all was yesterday. And she let me sleep inside the house in the guest bedroom last night. So I didn't have to sleep in the garage. Last night, thankfully, got a much better night's sleep. Although I still didn't get a great night's sleep because, I'm in a different house. It's not my usual. Because I'm really a person of habit. I don't like sleeping, and even sleeping in a hotel room or something, I can never get good sleep doing that. So yeah. But it definitely beat sleeping in the hot garage, because again, it was hot. It was hot when I was sleeping in there. So it wasn't good. So my mom said she'll call my dad today and talk to him, and hopefully we can convince him to let me come back to the house and stay with him again, because all my stuff is there. I don't want to stay with my mom. I'd much rather live with my dad. He's much easier to live with, even though he kicked me out. Whatever, to begin with, that was my mom's whole idea. So when my mom gets back, we'll see if she'll call my dad and if he'll actually take me back and let me, because I did what he wanted me to do. I went out. I did physically go out and try to find a job. I didn't succeed, but, I had as much success as I knew I would. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at now. As of the time of recording this, I'm at my mom's house. I slept here 2 nights now. And hopefully tonight I will get to go back to my dad's house and stay there. But yeah, I guess I'll give y'all an update when that happens. Gosh, I just don't understand how my parents don't get that, it's not 1985 anymore. It's not 1991 anymore. You fill out applications online. The internet exists now, and that's where you fill out applications for jobs. That's where you find a job. You do it on the internet. You don't do it walking into places. So yeah, I guess I'll continue to look online for jobs. I guess that's what I'll do for the rest of today. I might work on editing these videos together. I don't know when I'll get these. By the time you're listening to this, it probably already happened. Because I also have kind of like a backlog of videos or audio I recorded that I need to edit together with the gameplay footage. That I need to... Still got a couple more thumbnails I need to make. I don't know when I'm going to get this up, okay? So it all might be out of order when I upload it. But maybe I can upload it in order. I don't know. Either way, yeah, that's about all I got to say. I texted Gym Girl. I was lying in bed awake, unable to sleep, and I just couldn't stop thinking about her. And I don't know if it's even like her that was keeping me up or just the thought of her, and the thought of how it all went down. Because it feels like we had some kind of relationship or at least friendship going on, and then all of a sudden she just completely ghosted me. And this whole time, I'm just completely in the dark. I have no idea really what happened or why she suddenly stopped talking to me. I suspected that it was just that she thought I was ugly after she saw me, but I never knew for sure. And I think that uncertainty is what gets to me. So, I don't know. I was just lying awake in bed, and I don't know about y'all, but when I'm sleep deprived, up late at night, unable to sleep, my brain just works differently. And it only happens at nighttime too. If I'm sleep deprived during the day, I don't think it's like that. But yeah, it's like I have thoughts I usually never would, and I probably should know to just never act on those thoughts under any circumstances. But unfortunately, in this case, I did. So I was thinking about Gym Girl, and I ended up texting her. And I actually texted her like 5 messages, but it was really just one really long message that had to send as 5 messages because of the character limit. And looking back now, that was obviously a weird and creepy thing to do. This just happened and I'm already cringing about it. But like I said, my sleep-deprived nighttime brain, it just works differently. So at the time I was thinking, she's going to see how much I care and she's going to realize she made a mistake. Or even if not that, I was thinking she might have some valid excuse for hanging up on me and ghosting me. And I know that doesn't even make sense, but like I said, my brain just works different at night sometimes. Like in regular waking hours after a full night's rest, I would never have thought to text her like that or had any of those delusional thoughts. Like I just wouldn't have, it wouldn't have happened at all. So yeah, I texted her this long 5-message long thing, basically just saying, I miss when we used to talk and asking what happened. And this was at like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is obviously not even a reasonable time to text someone. So I should have just waited till morning and then my normal daytime brain would have been like, what the hell is this gay shit? And deleted the messages. But my nighttime brain was telling me, you gotta just press send now, or else you'll never have the courage. You'll never find out the truth. As if I don't already know the truth, she saw my ugly face and she was disgusted by me. But anyways, she did respond. Or maybe it's more accurate to say that I received a response from someone using her phone, because I got a text back after like 10 to 20 minutes or something like that, and it just said, she doesn't want you. And the text was from her number, but I'm assuming it wasn't her. I guess it was her boyfriend or something, and I didn't respond to that obviously, but after a minute or two, I get another text from her number and it just said, stay away from her. So I guess that's that. I don't even know how I ever thought texting her was going to be a good idea. Like, obviously nothing good would come of it, but something in my idiotic nighttime brain was thinking, she's going to see my message and she's going to remember how it felt when we were texting and she's going to miss those times and I don't know. And this is how stupid I am. I kind of thought that maybe it was a possibility that she never actually hung up on me. And what really happened was just that her phone disconnected and then she was waiting for me to say something. And I thought, maybe I'm the one being a jerk in this whole situation. And I think the only reason that stupid thought even entered my head in the first place is because I had a few comments on my videos saying something like that. But obviously I shouldn't take the comments that seriously, because not even just that, but honestly I feel like sometimes I just let the comments affect my state of mind too much. I mean, I made a whole video talking about this earlier, but when I post a video that gets more negative comments than usual, it kind of makes me second guess myself, which is probably not a good thing. But either way, yeah, I think I was right the first time, like with my initial thoughts about why Gym Girl hung up on me. She saw me, she thought, hey, that guy is freaking ugly, and she hung up, and it's as simple as that. And it's stupid because only my overanalyzing nighttime brain could possibly even think of anything beyond that. Like, my clear thinking normal brain saw the truth immediately as it happened, like just received the input of the actual observation of her seeing me on FaceTime and hanging up, and then just automatically drew the correct conclusion. That's my daytime normal clear thinking brain. I wish I could have that brain all the time. I mean, if I actually maintained a regular sleep schedule, I wouldn't have to worry about nighttime brain, but it's hard when you don't actually have any reason to wake up at a certain time. And I don't know if this nighttime-daytime brain dichotomy is a universal thing or if it's just me, but I know I remember Jerry Seinfeld had a bit about something similar, where it was basically something about how Night Jerry always wants to stay awake and keep going and keep watching TV or just keep getting that next dopamine rush, while Day Jerry just wants to stay in bed and sleep. And I guess that's not exactly the same as what I'm talking about, but it could be related. And I actually don't know if nighttime brain has anything to do with being sleep deprived or if it's more just about the time of day. Because every time I can remember having night brain, it always seems like it is actually at nighttime. But maybe that's just because it's usually nighttime when I'm sleep deprived. But yeah, maybe there is something about setting an alarm and waking up early. Like, I used to think society functioned like that just because we all needed to agree on a regular time for everyone to be awake so business can operate and all that. And the reason workplaces start so early is just a holdover from back when agriculture was the main industry. But now, I don't know. Maybe there is more to it. Like, it's really just that over time people realize that you have to get up regularly at 6 a.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m. because if you don't, you're going to end up with nighttime brain and do something rash like sell off the wrong stock or slaughter all your goats too early or something. I don't know. Maybe this is all just completely retarded, but I think I could be onto something. This is my daytime brain talking right now, by the way, so I am thinking clearly right now. Or at least I think I am. Anyway, I actually think I'm going to try to set some kind of schedule for myself. Like, I might not have a job, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't maintain some kind of schedule to keep myself healthy and really just keep myself sane. And it might also help me to keep away from some of my bad habits. Like, it might keep me busy enough that I won't think to watch adult videos or anything like that. But yeah, if nothing else, I'd like to schedule some time in the morning to wake up, and I want to schedule some time to exercise and some time to work on things related to this channel. Because really I am kind of treating this channel like my job now, even though I don't really spend that much time on it. But I know this sounds stupid, but this channel is probably one of the best things I've got going in my life right now. Or at least it feels like it. Like, it's obviously not good for me sometimes when I get really into reading all the comments and stuff like that, but when I look at my page and see all the thumbnails and stuff, I do feel a sense of accomplishment. Like, okay, I guess I am kind of doing something here. Like, I feel like I've created something, even if it is pretty low effort. But yeah, another thing I wanted to start doing, and this idea actually comes from someone that reacted to one of my videos a while back, this guy was watching my video and he started talking about how sad it is that I'm at home all day with my dad, but we don't even eat dinner together. So I think I want to start eating dinner with my dad sometimes. Because we usually only actually sit down and eat together on holidays, or maybe if my aunt is visiting or something. And he always watches TV while he eats dinner, but I figured maybe I'd just have a seat on the couch and eat with him sometime. I don't know. We'll see what I can manage to do. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna make some kind of schedule and see if it helps in any way. I don't know what yet, but I'll keep y'all posted.